50th birthday, and people literally were like on their comments like, really, that's badass. Like, that's just a job really amazing.
Fuck yeah, no, I mean that's still. They take. These are people like me who take it your word as gold, and
So being
like
a lawyer like myself isn't really paying off.
no bullshit. Let's just. It's not. It's not. We don't want to say it's.
You're live.
So
we're live. Oh shit!
Oh my god!
This is your show, so you better talk. I'm used to talking too much.
No, I want you to.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm gonna try not to cuss tonight.
I'm gonna like treat this like it's your show then.
Oh, would you shut up?
All right. No, it's a mutual show then tonight.
So it's our
man.
show. Yeah, because I think I'm gonna play the audio version of this on my show. This is also my podcast with David.
Oh damn it! I was
I'm
hoping
saving you a trip down south, but you always come
I was hoping I was gonna come up anyway.
Oh, you can. You're always welcome.
Yeah, man. Anyway, hello, Skateboard Nation, and welcome tonight's guest, Mr. Jim Gray. Yeah,
I've been called worse.
Yeah, I know you have. I've heard it.
Oh shit! Look, I'm already cussing.
Oh my gosh! Oh, we've already lost 3 followers.
Oh no!
As soon as I say your name,
3. You put my name on the screen. The viewer count went
I know.
down.
Yeah. As soon as it's like, oh no!
You're welcome, guys.
I was trying to hide this the whole time. Anyway, everybody, welcome to the show. Again, I got Jim Gray tonight, and Jim has been in the skateboard industry forever.
I'm old. Yeah.
Jim has worked everything in skateboarding, from pro skater or rookie amateur to pro skater, basically company owner. You've done it all. I mean, marketing, you've done.
A couple things.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of fun. I'm the luckiest guy in skateboarding.
Luckiest guy. Well, you know.
Well, it depends on how you define luck.
Yeah.
I'm still here. I'm almost 60. I'm smiling and I'm alive. All right. So, I don't have a cast on. Never broken a bone. That's
Wow.
Coming soon.
Let me think. No, I did broke my collarbone.
What?
So yeah.
How'd you do that?
Arizona contest, 1987. Backside air slid out. It was like 105 degrees, and I went straight to the bottom. I didn't even put my hands down. Nothing. I felt like I was just diving into the bottom of
my
that
worst
thing.
accident was also
Yeah.
I was like 105. It was like ruptured my 5.
Well, that's like breaking something.
I fell straight to the bottom.
That's like...
I broke my spleen. They don't put it in a splint. They put some stitches in it. I took a third of it out. And...
Ooh, that had to be fun.
I had to drive.
No, it wasn't. So.
Yeah.
I had to drive Dave home all the way from Arizona.
Oh, you drove him
I
home?
took him there.
Yeah.
That's Dale Van Smith in the background. In case you know.
Yeah.
He's my part-time 360 coach.
Yes. Well, anyway, okay. Well, let's get into this a little bit. There's
try not to cuss, but yeah. Okay, what are we gonna talk about?
You know what? You do whatever you feel comfortable. All right. I'm not worried about it, and I think everybody.
I'm in a room.
I think like the 3 people that are watching are all over 21. Hey, welcome, Stanley's. Hey, DC, what's happening? Welcome to the show. Anyway, okay, so you know what? I have like a boatload of questions, but I don't.
Start asking.
I know, but I just don't even think.
This where I just talk, so I don't even write questions down. So you're way ahead of me.
Well,
there's time for questions. Like you got a staff, you got a technical guy.
I know.
Yes, there's like 77 cameras on my face and like lights, like you see all my pimples and whatever else, you know. I mean, this is pretty high tech. I'm pretty impressed. I can't wait to hear those questions. Let's just throw it out there.
Well, no, okay, but I just want to start. The good questions are on page 2 and 3. Okay, the first ones are boring. Okay,
right.
And that's just basically asking you, all right, how did we get involved in skateboarding? I know a little bit about it. I've seen other interviews of you going through it, but like, what generated you to sit there and say skateboarding is my life?
Well, I think there's 2 rounds. First round was toy, right? We bought
right.
the Black Knight at the local drugstore and rolled around the neighborhood, and then got like a ball bearing wheel. That was when it was just a toy on the street, and then got into wider stuff. Where my brother started. My brother. It's all about my brother. My brother was Stacy Peralta and Catamaran down Costa. Down there, and, they were just friend Rob. They kind of teased me because I wasn't into it.
How old were you at that time? You like 13,
13 or
14?
14, something like
Okay.
that.
Okay. And so this is like 78, 77,
Um,
you know?
yeah, probably when I got sponsored, 77, 78. As
Okay.
far as when I just started, first time I was year high, 76, I think.
Okay, what year did you turn pro?
That's a good question. Whittier turkey shoot. That's all I
Oh,
remember.
really?
Probably was that 80, 81, maybe. I
I
don't
think it
know.
was
Okay.
81.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because that's right when I was getting out of it. So I didn't know if we competed against each other
I don't
or
know
if
if
I
we did.
just dropped out right before you really
My
got
first
into it.
contest, I was pretty confident that I was going to get top five. That was my feeling. I knew
Wow.
it. I felt it, and I hurt my knee. So I actually bailed on a rock and roll. I couldn't tore the ligaments the night before and woke up and couldn't walk. Like I'm going anyways, and just tried and I popped it in. My pro career, woo, big time.
Wow. I remember having that same type of injury, but I was at Colorado contest. I think that was 79 or 80. I put on two, um, remember putting on two, like it was going to help. I put on two pads on one knee,
Well,
thinking
I hadn't
like,
gone to a
oh,
doctor yet,
good.
so
Yeah,
I
I
didn't know
hadn't
what
either.
was happening. All I knew was it
Yeah.
just hurt like I bent. I was like, oh man, that hurt crazy. Being a dumb kid, Wait a day, it'll feel.
The
Yeah.
good news, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how we all thought. It's gonna get better. No worries. Okay, so all right, so we're brother did it. Okay, so who were the guys that you skated with? Who were you like, other than your brother? You start skating and you're starting to go to the parks. We're taking this a little more
Yeah,
serious at
we had
that
a crew
time.
like in school. We had a guy Randy Lockman.
Okay.
He was the first goalie. Like opened the back of the big van, wide tires, the plumes of smoke came out. He was just like long hair, hippie dude. It's funny. I think he ended up like inheriting all his parents' apartment buildings. I think he still looks exactly the same, has a leather jacket, lives the same life. More power to him, right? So, but yeah, he was Spicoli, dude, and he would cross in the back of the van, drive us to Scopia, big
Right there in the picture.
go to Upland. Oh, that kid in the picture. Oh, my big O pass. That's the cocky kid. I love that. I love that look. Look at that smug face. I think that's a pass. That's not just I had a regular card as well, which was you paid to get in, and that was like when GNS paid for my. I got to flash it like. And like, I was like, yeah, you guys are paying $2 an hour. I'm getting in for free. I feel the same today. I got some free UGG boots when I came in here.
Hey, don't mention anything about our sponsors.
No, sponsors are great.
We got a new sponsor today, and thank you, Super Lamb.
Yeah, Super Lamb boots are really awesome. From a guy with lots of history in the skateboarding business. I love that.
Yeah.
Skateboarders never go away. They're everywhere.
Oh yeah,
They're like
yeah, right.
cockroaches.
Yeah.
You walk into a company,
are.
an hour and a half drive, the guys, yeah, we've met before.
Yeah.
I'm like, I did this, that. Like, Jesus Christ, do I ever avoid a skateboarder?
Yeah.
I'm not that I want to. But I think
They
you
all keep coming back. There's no question. So anyway, you had Spicoli.
yeah, Spicoli got us around.
So,
Actually, mopeds and like Honda 90s. I literally sat
Yeah,
on the back
yeah,
of
yeah.
my brother's moped with
Yeah.
pegs,
Yeah.
driving to Skatopia. I live in Westminster. That's like 15 miles away. Many a side street. My brother used to actually ride to Mount Baldy on his moped from half-hour drive. And that was a die-hard time.
that was. No, I mean I had a Kawasaki 100.
Woo! I still have my first show. I've had since I was 15.
I left mine at Tony Mag's house, and somehow it got. I don't know what Tony did with it. He never told me. Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, no, I had no place to put it, and
Couldn't
yeah,
fit it in.
I think he finally. Yeah, I know. I think
So
he finally tossed
But
it.
the whole story is basically we had a crew. We had a couple guys at Pro. We rode mopeds, bicycles, anything. We rode through the skate parks were being built, but it was also the quarter pipe era.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Rampage ramp with
Yeah.
plexiglass. Ooh, someone put a piece of plexiglass in our quarter pipe too, and all that stuff. My friend Roland Salazar, who actually drew the first graphic for my GNS stick man, he had a quarter pipe in his guard. I really great picture, classic ashboard wheels. That's kind of
I wish I.
Ashwood.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, a
Yeah, of
solid
course.
ashwood board, and
So we used
and
I did know.
ash and
yeah,
mahogany.
we're better, but we were just middle class kids didn't know where to go. We probably didn't have some high end. Probably went into whatever Builders Emporium or whatever it's called before Builders Emporium. Just said I need a piece of hardwood and Vans used to sell wheels in shops. So I bought 2 red and 2 wheels. Had some tracker trucks or something. And that was the start of it. We made a lot of our own boards. We used to make plywood boards.
Yeah.
I remember they'd only last 5 sessions, but they die. And it's like, oops, my finger got caught on my glove doing a tail tap. And I rode to the bottom of the pool. My board just snapped in half. But we had resin and sand on top for grip.
Right.
Fish bowl. I mean,
Yeah.
like, pretty crafty. So I actually, funny story was I've only the only boards I ever purchased in my life were I made the ash board, those wheels.
Wow. Never bought one, huh? I went out. My first board I ever bought was a AC Peralta Warp 2. That was the first one I ever bought. I
But
spent
later I
like
sponsored
$28.
people, so I gave away
How
my
much?
Yeah,
share.
You paid how much?
$28.
I paid 121 in Japan.
Yeah.
Same board.
Well, lucky you hanging out in Japan.
Yeah,
You're in
right?
Japan. You bought it in Japan.
Hey, I spent like when I hung out there, man, it was $7 for a glass of orange juice. I think it was like
When
you know,
did
50 cents here.
I've never been to Japan. You kidding?
Yeah, neither have I.
I never. It's a Dave Hendricks status, you know. No?
I know. I never went
You
either.
never went
But
either.
you know,
Maybe by the time I'm 65, because most of the guys my age is one by one are disappearing from like actually. Mostly just don't skateboard anymore. So eventually, when they run out of like, what old guys can we gather? Like, okay, you know, he's the guy that Steve Caballero and Tony Hawk used to beat, so they could be the champions. You know, they had to have somebody there. You know, so I showed up to get 35th. That's the way it happened. Like, I got to, you know, everyone else had to buy a ticket to watch. I got to stand on the deck and watch. So I always got to watch the finals. That's why I was there. You know, I suck, but I'm good enough to be here to watch from the finals.
Yeah.
So I know my place is game.
and he had a prime spot.
I had a practice spot
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, that always bothered me actually, you know, because every time they had a contest up at the block, I always see all you and Dale Smith and all the guys all sitting around the pool, and I was up in general admission, like
And
with
that was-
binoculars
That
trying
was
to
a
watch
hard
the
thing because
event.
I
You
would
know?
the same. It went through different cycles. Remember when they would do all those like I rode in those first pro contests or demos down in High.
Yeah.
And then came a time when they were doing like this Soul Bowl thing. For a while, it was all the Bostics. You go in and yell Bostic, oh, I get you in.
Yeah.
And then eventually went like they were up in the booth, and there's all these sponsorship people. Oh, I'm sorry, your name's not on the list. Or,
Yeah.
It's sponsored by Phillips
You and I
Electronics, and they're up there eating Wahoo's fish tacos. Like I know Wayne from Wahoo's. But oh no, yeah, but the executives get to eat. You're not on the list, and then we like couldn't get in to watch the contest. And there was something a little bit frustrating about like I've been here for the last 20 years riding
happened
it,
to you
and
and
now
I
I'm
at the
sitting in the
protest.
stands. You know.
That happened to you and I at the project.
My socks are man down there.
Yeah, it's been you know whenever they stop putting someone who really grew up with all of us
Yeah.
to check people.
Yeah,
in,
I know.
You know,
We
a
were-
Mrs. Hoffman or someone
Yeah.
like that always knew the faces. Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah, let them in. We're all lazy ass skateboarders. We don't want all that. I just walk up and expect my name's on the list. You know,
Yeah.
like and yeah, that's arrogant and cocky, but you know, like
Yeah, there was a couple times I was at the block and I was sitting there outside. They wouldn't like even Christy didn't let me in. I was
Yeah.
just like,
I
man, this is really terrible. So I'd get on the phone and I would look inside and I'd see pros and I would call them like, hey, you got an extra badge? You know?
I
So
used to
finally
get. I used
people
to
would be
try. There
like,
was a point when I got about a dozen passes. I just told people like Christy Florell, he's like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to give them to people who don't deserve it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to save you 10 phone calls
Yeah.
because it's just one more, 300 you're fielding. I go, I promise I'll just make, because I always get hit by people like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't get a pass. Can you
Yeah.
give me a pass? They're really dudes that totally grew up, pro skaters weren't down. I'm like, yeah, I got a pass for you, buddy. I got a pass for you.
Well, there was once or twice I got a pass from Rob Mertz. Somehow he always found a way because, you know, his way in. I don't know. He got his
Well,
way
if I
in.
go
and-
back to the old
and-
days of
yeah.
history, who smokes a bong with who? You know, you and I weren't smoking a bong with either of them, so we just weren't on the list. You know, Jim don't bring no weed. Jim
Yeah.
doesn't bring the best
I know.
alcohol.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I never saw any coke coming out of his nose. Like, how am I gonna why would I invite him? He's got nothing to offer. So
So that's why we were sitting
yeah.
outside.
Then I might call them out on their shit, call bullshit on them. So all reasons why you don't want Jim Gray to be there. You know, and I might laugh during the session. That was always frowned upon. You know, like some people would think like, oh, there's a laugh.
Oh my
Like, what's
god.
wrong with laughing? It's my favorite trick.
Yeah. All right, so we're getting sponsored now.
Yeah.
First sponsor. I mean, you've been sponsored by
Well, my first sponsor was
9 to 15 people?
Pro-Am.
Pro-Am. What's Pro-Am?
I think it might be a early variation of Sure Grip. I know they're
Oh,
based
was
in
it?
they're based in Southgate, so I assume
Oh,
that was
okay.
Sure Grip
Yeah, yeah.
territory.
That sounds like Sure Grip.
They had a huge team they sponsored at Skatopia. That was like their
Okay,
and
that
they
was
actually had a
fun.
team practice thing.
Uh-huh.
So I met a kid riding a backyard. But I want to get you on. You come on Monday night to our team practice. I want to introduce you to the guy. I went to skate.
Yeah.
Here's your thing. And then they would have practice there, and then sometimes they would practice at Sadland.
Okay.
So the freestylers
wow.
would do freestyle on the basketball courts, and we had little graders. That was my first sponsor was Pro-Am. So young, I can't remember. Real strange thing about that. Later, when I was skateboards, I got a subpoena for a court case. Somebody was suing Pro-Am, and I'm like, I had to write him back, and I go, really? Like, I was like 13 years old. I don't know who Juan Ramirez is who's suing them because the chemicals he drank while making my skateboard wheels are bad. I'm assuming I'm not how bad. I mean, as far as it really went through the case like that. It was like an employment case. Someone like,
Okay.
they probably found my name in some file. Team. And they just had some name somewhere that said Jim Gray. And I'm like, all right. Sorry. So back off that. So from Pro, I know he's signaling.
Yeah, I know, and I'm
Shut
staring
him
at.
up. Ask him a question.
I'm looking at the light, going. I can only.
So I'll go
see
really quick.
It's white hair.
Pro-Am.
Okay.
I wrote a program called Megatron.
Oh
Made
yeah, trucks.
They made
Yeah.
some kind of funky mag.
Yeah, they were
wheels, and
terrible, I
shot a few
think.
pictures
Weren't
of that. Then I got on Powerflex.
Okay.
Well, Gail Webb was kind of the Powerflex one, and that's when Powerflex sort of solved amongst them. Partners had an issue. I was like, I can't get skateboards. It's ironic that I do Powerflex now.
Yeah, right.
And then I did a little stint on Inaway's pool service.
Okay.
Same thing. Wally gave me some boards and disappeared. Skateboarding was.
Oh, I
going
know,
up.
I know.
Wally,
Yeah.
Superstar Wally. Where's
Especially
Wally? I was all
like
stoked that-
81, 82, it really started changing.
Yeah, I was stoked. Here I got
Yeah.
sponsored by Wally, legend, and now and then finally Steve
Put you up.
Steve put me on
Okay.
GNS. That's when I felt like the cocky kid in the car.
So the next time-
Yeah. Okay. Like I'm not in the farm leagues anymore. I'm age the pros. I'm in starting lineup.
Well, that was
you know?
probably what, 79? Is that what we
I think
decided?
that's 79.
Because I know that was the year that we met. That was when I met you. Was that I probably at that weekend or that time I was shooting my Who's Hot, and I remember you were there.
Was it
Oh no,
79 Hester Series year?
Yeah.
Because I didn't go to the Hester
Yeah.
Series contest. I was
Okay.
way too much in love with skateboarding. I went skateboarding somewhere else. I was going to sit and watch other people ride a skateboard. I'm like,
What?
Exactly. Like,
Didn't you know I was there?
I didn't give a shit. That was the whole
What?
thing.
So wait a minute, man.
I do now.
There.
I
In this right now.
I do now. I just drove to Eskin fucking Dito. Like, are you kidding? So you know I love you now. Back then I didn't care. You know, like,
Oh man. All right. Anyway, well, it's good. You missed me skating in my 3 pairs of shorts that weekend.
I probably saw you skating during practice.
Yeah.
And I did come through
No.
on practice. I just wasn't about to sit
No,
and watch.
I just remember. I think that was. I don't know if it was. Then it must have been the next one, the
It was
Gold
the
Cup
Gold Cup
Series,
Series
when.
next year.
Yeah, but I mean, I noticed like I think you were still amateur.
I
That was
amateur in the Gold. I got third.
Yeah,
in the Gold
okay.
Cup there.
all right, and you were still amateur,
You got
and then
third
I
overall.
was
Okay, I got third in that one. I think.
Yeah, Big O.
I got 8th overall.
yeah.
Third,
Okay.
third, fourth, and a fifth. And I
Was the
don't know.
Big O like close to your?
Big O was my local park. It was like 10 miles away. That was worse.
Yeah, I just remember meeting. I remember meeting you, and I remember it was a pro contest at that time, and you were skating and stuff. And I remember Dwayne was heckling a lot, just really heckling you, man. And you were polite the first time and asked him to shut up. And the second time it kept coming, and you said one more time, and I'm gonna come beat your ass.
Yeah, I had told him that many
And then
times.
the
Yeah.
third time, he did it. I remember you run pretty fast. Because you chased him out of the park really quick, man. And
I used a few times.
I
I
didn't-
put my feet under his wheels, pushed him on his face a couple
Yeah.
times. But I just like, I got tired of his shit.
Yeah.
Like he had cronies. Okay, very few people had cronies. He had 7 or 8 cronies. that
Yeah,
would
yeah,
follow
yeah,
him
he
around
did.
And like,
that was
they would threaten to cut my hair in the bathroom. They
Yeah.
would shave people's heads. And I go, dude, I'll come back with a baseball bat
Yeah.
and beat the shit out of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would just tell them that. They, you know, but then they like to mess with me. That's that.
I remember. Yeah, Dwayne definitely shaved a lot of people's heads in the bathroom.
Yeah, I would blow me when
So-
people told me they were scared. They would let it
Yeah.
happen. I go, I'd kill 'em. Yeah.
He did eyebrows.
No, he did whatever, man.
Well, it
Whatever.
kind of goes to something that's probably a lifelong thing of mine. I don't like people or picking on other people.
Yeah, man.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that's,
It's like,
that's always a
especially
bad
when they
thing.
pick on people that are scared or can't do anything. And I wasn't scared. It was like, dude, go for it. Touch me.
Get out there.
Find out what happened.
Hey, well, I've got like a picture of you I want to show you.
Which one?
Me too. Starting right there. Yeah, yeah.
Those numbers.
So-
Oh, fancy. I gotta learn a
Yeah,
lot.
man, you got to learn,
Yeah.
production
Oh,
time.
yeah, there we go.
But-
Jinxie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was 12, but there he
Yeah,
is,
there we
man.
go.
That's the GNS guy. And the reason why I really pulled this picture was because what is that ramp? 8 feet wide?
That's
And I love the deck.
Maybe 12, but yeah.
Oh, is it 12? Really?
I think it might be 8. I don't even remember.
You know,
I just
I mean-
showed up and had to live, so I just
Okay.
looked at what I had to work
I
with.
look at each one of those planes and it looks like they're 2 feet each,
Yeah.
or
Well,
maybe
it-
2.5
it's-
feet
it's
each.
like- that's in front of Witt's Carlsbad Pipeline.
Oh, no way, that's
That's
here.
Oh, that's right, because that's when it was a Mexican restaurant over there.
Yeah, if you look on the behind my
Wow.
picture, which you can't see on the screen because I'm on that left corner, there was like that Hawk and Lester Gasai and all those guys were dead. Tracker guys.
Oh, that was for Tracker.
I did
Okay.
a lot of stuff for.
Yeah,
So you can actually see the chickens across the street because they're not there.
that was that was definitely the olden days. So the shop's still there. That deck, partial deck thing, I actually rock and rolled that once and stayed stalled too long.
Which
Went
one?
Over the back.
Which one?
With
On the
this
other
spot where
side?
There's no deck.
Oh, yeah,
Rock and
yeah,
rolled,
yeah.
No deck, and
Oh,
did the
shit.
cocky like double dip.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit! And I straddled the trailer, so I jumped off the back of it, and it's on a trailer, and I was like, I seriously almost never had children. I saw that trailer coming. I'm like, oh man! I probably landed and just felt my legs stiff and kept within an inch of a Huevo crush on that one. So
Well, the biggest thing is I just want to do is just the fact that it's a super narrow ramp, and when you're doing tricks like that, basically you're going up, straight up, and straight back in.
well, it's
And,
early release. Like
you know.
with frontside air, you let go and just float back in. Got to.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, but I mean, yeah, early release. Yeah, I guess that's one way to do it. Way to say it. But I
stink
just
bug,
know
though,
that,
see, the critic could go, yeah, but you're doing stink bug. The critics would also say, oh, you got rails and a lap, or you all a cheat or something. Like, dude, no, again, pardon my f-bombs, but fuck
Yeah.
off. Like I had fun. It was given to me for free. What the hell? You give me some
That was
plastic, I'll
easy.
decorate it. My board came out in '83, and that's definitely like a prototype, a blank of some sort. So yeah, probably '80.
yeah, I don't know. I just find it like amazing that people were doing that kind of stuff
Grant Britton
when-
shot those photos.
when it
Those
was.
photos he gave.
It looks like you
I always wore gardening gloves. And that was one thing I did, that like the gray slide trick, whatever, and I always wear these ramps and slide my hand. I get splinters in my hand. And again, I didn't have one of the sponsors who had fans. Kill those gloves. They were
Yeah,
so
yeah.
bitchin'. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. They were like $50. I wasn't buying them and nobody was giving them to me. So like I went to freaking a Home Depot, whatever, Ollie's, where the hell it was back then, and I bought like 99 cents. I bought 5 pairs of them. That's the leather ones, like cloth back leather on the palm or whatever, so you could drag your hand.
Hey, I can just say the Sims gloves almost killed me more than once.
Yeah, you
And
were a Sims guy. You
after-
got them for
yeah,
free.
I did get it for free. And every time I got them after the first time, I cut the fingers off, the tips off, because those things would catch on your bolts when you were grabbing your board.
Again, like I said, I
And-
made boards. I've done that, and
Yeah, man.
almost killed myself with my fingers stuck on my bolt,
Yeah.
coming towards the bottom of the pool. I
You're-
take my hand off. I'm like,
There's
not a
nothing you
good
can do,
feeling.
man. Yeah.
Head going with
Yeah.
you towards the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, it was never any fun. I can tell you that. Okay, so we're covered. We got GNS. We're getting free boards, free stuff. You were going on tours and stuff like that, like back in those days. Like, how was
It
that
a
working
different-
out?
There was no money then. There was no.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
one
okay.
trip I took, GNS, I think, or the plane going to Jacksonville. Flew to
Okay.
Orlando, took a bus to Jacksonville.
Oh, okay.
That's the only really out of state thing I've done. That with
From the whole time,
Arizona
just
a
that
few
one.
times.
Okay.
Stuff like that.
Did you
And
get the?
I was in the era of contests happening. You know what I mean? And Steve Cathy coming by in a van, picking us up, taking us to a motel in Colton. where
Oh,
we,
I got one of those
have
pictures,
food
actually.
fights and cause trouble before we went to the contest.
Isn't
Got dropped back
isn't
off the
that
hill.
3?
Yeah, I think it's 3 and 4. We got some funny
There we
pictures
go.
here. So here's one of those cheesy ones. Yeah, if you look up there, but I mean, you got some classic GNS riders right here.
Oh.
And you know it's trouble. The next picture is even funnier to me. But
This is the one that-
you
that was- I
got
bet
Billy
the
and
same
Steve,
picture's got the telephone one.
and it looks like Gino Tossi
There's
there.
Gino Tossi, for
Okay, and then you and Pine. Yeah.
sure. I know.
So
that's me.
wait a minute, that
I'm
might
even
not be
in
you
there.
actually.
No, I'm not in there.
Oh,
Not in
okay.
that photo.
But that was
Steve
one of
Cathy, Pineapple.
But
Gino
that's-
Tossi. Those are the cool guys. They would San Diego.
those are the cool guys.
I was the bastard stepchild from Orange County.
What about this one here?
That's us. Yeah, that's
Okay.
That's just us posing for stupid pictures. That's Neil being goofy, me making silly faces, Billy executive that he's always thought he is.
Oh, okay. I thought he was just like I figured they were.
Really.
I figured they were calling for room service or something.
That didn't happen. That happened in the later 80s.
Oh, later
Well, those were
80s.
like the
That's
gotcha days.
Yeah.
It was like the demos in a different state every weekend. Like, here's your 4-star hotel. Order room service. Do what you want.
wow.
It was not in
That was
1982
that was-
or 81.
that was living large. Well, there's a lot of crank calls that were going on
Yeah,
at
you were
that
lucky
time
if you got a
too.
breakfast at Denny's.
There was no such thing as continental breakfast.
Yeah. All right, so contest wise, give me some of your contest experiences. Like, what were some of the good contests? Like,
I think once I got 97th out of 35. Fifth out of 32. So, I went to all the contests. I mean, my true golden era of skateboard was like the Gold Cup series. I got like a third at Big O. I got fourth at Oasis. I got fifth at Pipeline. Don't know what I got the other two. I know I got eighth overall. So I liked the concrete skate parks as it all went away. Started going to ramps.
yeah,
I tolerated them. I didn't.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I like to go too fast and loose. I'd slip out, and slide around.
I hate
I-
ramps.
I did. So through that, most of the 80s, I just rode ramps because I had to, and got used to it. But I wasn't a real big contest guy. But I didn't usually get fast. I mean, I get 50 guys that get in the 30s.
Yeah,
Sometimes the
yeah.
20s. There's a few contests. I look back at some of the Del Mar contests, that were in like 485. Sometimes I was surprised. I go, Caballero. Someone goes, you had a fever of 105 all weekend. That makes sense. It's like,
Exactly.
I'm definitely a realist as far as where I fit in, but
Well, we've got some good pictures too of you skating pipes,
I like skating pipes.
and it's pretty impressive with some of the stuff that you did. I don't know. I think it was Upland and Whittier.
Probably
So
the best skate park that I skated. I skated Baldy.
did you? I didn't see any photos of that. But
Yeah, I
like
you probably.
even
Is this regular season?
try.
Yeah, that's a roof roll in
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
There, that was the investment.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
Mofo shot that. Mofo's only shot a couple pictures. Kind of against the law back then.
yeah,
Take a picture
yeah,
of
yeah,
the
yeah,
record,
yeah.
you know,
Right.
you
Oh,
put the
absolutely.
But somehow he couldn't help it. Like I went higher than every single guy on Indy. You have to take one picture. It's like I think that's why there's one Tony Hawk cover out of like 25 years of pressure. Couldn't avoid the guy.
Really?
They kicked all their ass like 175 times. They will finally acknowledge him really quick, and then we'll shove it on the thing and move to the next month.
Well, the funny thing is now he rides for Indy, and
Oh, he's
so,
really funny.
yeah.
And now if Mofo comes to town, he'll be one of the first people to call me.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to go drink? So yeah, that's the way things change. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool, actually. I'm trying to figure out when I saw that. Like, I don't know if I was ollieing in a pipe, which would be way ahead of its time, or just early release. Kind of rad to see.
It looks like
Over no wheels on it.
out of the
No, that was
No, that's still inside of
there was
it.
a high wall that came out of that pipe. I used to grinds on it.
Okay, wait a minute. Is that Skate City right there
That's
then?
Skate City, yeah.
Okay, that is Skate City.
So
Okay.
I think that's probably like an early release. Oh my hand.
Oh,
Maybe I'm
speaking.
better at ollieing than I thought.
Yeah, I didn't even know you ever ollied. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, you better just
That
say
was
it.
like
That
me.
was an ollie.
So, okay. Well, speaking of that, you know the owner of Skate City pretty well.
I do. Back then I didn't.
Okay.
I had no idea who it was. And then, lately, I mean, my favorite place to skate on earth is
Right.
Gelati, I don't know.
That's the one in Malibu?
Yeah.
It ends with a vowel. I'm scared. Don't fuck with them. You get shanked.
Yeah.
Italian.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for allowing me to ride your beautiful paradise in Malibu. Him and Lance kind of replicated the Whittier
Yeah.
over a little bit
over
bigger
there.
side.
It looks a little
It's
bigger though.
a little bigger, yeah.
Yeah, it looks a little bigger, a little
If I could
funner.
only skate one place the rest of my life, that's where.
I'm just trying to think. I had a picture of it. I'd love to show it, but we'll get to it later.
Is that
as we keep
36B or
Um,
79D?
No, I don't
No.
have that list that he has. I could draw it really.
Can I just read that and heckle myself and say,
What?
no?
Wait, say it again.
Can I just read the list and heckle so I know what's coming?
Oh.
I want to
man,
be
here,
surprised. I
here.
want to be surprised.
You want to be
Boy,
surprised.
I can take some pictures while we're here. So
Yeah.
sorry, people, for interrupting, but I gotta remember this day for the rest of my life. That thing's-
No,
While
man.
you put pictures of me while there's bright lights blinding me. Yeah.
Right.
We want to make
Hey,
sure that
it's
we
even worse
make
if you're
you.
wearing glasses.
We want to make sure you're as comfortable as possible.
I'm very comfortable. I really am.
Well, it comes with it since we've known each other for 40 plus. Anyway, all right.
Weird.
I know.
I don't even feel like I'm 40.
Yeah.
Well, you don't look it, man.
I mean,
That's
you-
bullshit.
I like a day over 59 and a quarter.
Yeah.
59 and
Not a
half, so I'm
day.
doing pretty good.
Not a day.
When it's 60.
60 is Christmas Day this year.
Jim, yeah, that's right.
You're just
Okay.
coming-
All right. So, were there any contests you had any issues at? Do you remember?
Issues.
Yeah, I'm going easy, man. Like issues, like
Well, let's see the Palmdale ramp contest. I didn't really get to skate because I landed on my ass day before on a screw.
Oh
Tore like a
man.
2-inch gas in my ass. So I talked, cleaned up, patched, put a towel under my butt and said, "Have a good ride home, Jimmy."
Wow.
So,
Do you have to get stitches in that?
No, it was just flesh.
Flesh ripped off.
I just have
They're like, please don't
a
sue
shark
us.
bit me or something like that. I don't think anyone said that back then. If I was sued them, I would never been allowed back anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like it's a different era.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I only know
Someone
one
got
person.
hurt, get the putty knife, get him off the ramp, put him in a wheelbarrow, throw him out back in the alley.
Exactly.
So we
All right. So, demo wise, then, how will we do on demos, man? Like, I know you've been
Did
to a
lot of
million
demos
different
because,
demos.
I did a lot with Gail Webb in the early days.
Yeah.
With
What was-
Powerflex OP,
Well, I can see. Okay.
who? With Jim.
No.
So
Him still.
Yeah,
So,
that's so.
Getting
Yeah.
People mix
Oh,
up.
yeah.
Okay, so this
I'm
is
not
you
going
know,
to
Okay,
something
man.
I don't know. It's like, yeah.
All right, I'm losing control here.
No, I know you are. You're the host. You're supposed to
Dale,
take over.
Dale,
I
Dale.
do the podcast.
Dale, come on, man.
That's what happens when you bring a 95-year-old.
he was around when dirt was still young.
I know, that's what I heard. The dinosaurs looked up to him. Literally.
So, hey, now, come on now.
Hey, he's my 360 coach.
I know,
You
that's right, he
obviously
is.
He's not that good. I'm still only up to 4.
the Bob directions.
Oh my goodness.
So what the hell were we talking about?
Yeah, demos.
Demos.
Like what was it? I
well,
mean,
you
you're
were
with
with web demos. We did a lot of demos, like at shopping malls, Westminster Mall, whatever like that. You set up the ramp up. We did those. Did some of the stores down here. Remember
Yeah.
sports
Right.
stores around the thing? We did some there. Random county fairs, the Dune store, whatever. Dale.
I mean, did you have anything that just like went just out of hand, out of control?
Probably one of the best demos I ever did was when you get into the later '80s. I did demos for Gotcha.
Okay.
And this was era Gotcha, Quicksilver guys. And I was fortunate to be those. We went really almost Canada, Kentucky, to Tennessee, whatever, and they would set up things. Well, once at Dayton Hudson Department Store, it was like an 8-story department store, parking structure for. And I think there was room for like 1,000 kids. 5,000.
Wow.
So you think when a department
Wow.
store, 5,000 kids in a store, talk about a shoplifting nightmare, But all the escalators were turned off because there's people waiting, So we ended up doing like 4 or 5 demos because they let 1,000 kids in. We'd skate for a half hour. We'd sign a bunch of posters and shit, give them stickers, kick them out, and let another group in. And it was just pretty. It was a pretty crazy. I met people like Darren Navarrete there.
Oh,
These
wow.
guys were like 13-year-old
Yeah,
kids,
yeah.
and they're telling me, first time I saw you scraping off the ceiling, doing backside air, So yeah, it was. That's probably one of the craziest. Just lots of. I mean, that was the era of crazy product tosses and kids dragging each other across the yard with rubble and
remember
their
that.
skin as they won't let go of a shirt, and some other kid drags them across the dirt, and you're like bloody mess at the end and a torn shirt, and but they get out of the glory of winning the
Yeah.
end. So
And it was dirty and ripped by the time they finally got
so
it.
yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff, but just a lot of I forgot to count 30-something states I've been to, and they're most of them.
Yeah.
Like, Gotcha. And obviously, I have to say thanks to Lester Casai.
Yeah.
Again, where did I fit in? They wanted Lester Casai. They wanted Steve. Gray was like, sidekick, okay. But I usually held my ground because I did a couple decent things. So when there was the quarter pipe demo, or there was the bird thing, it's like it's kind of a funny story, like how I even got my model. Remember what was his name? Larry, team manager for Not Larry Gordon, but another Larry. But he watched me at one of those
Wilson.
demos. Larry, I think so.
Larry
Yeah,
Wilson.
Yeah, Larry Wilson came to one of the
Yeah.
demos. He's like, dude, I mean, obviously Tony Hawk did better tricks. But he goes, dude, you got as much applause, and the crowd was as into as they were. He's like, why don't we make you a board? Because Billy was kind of in charge. I'm not gonna put Billy down, but Billy was really way more into the whole cool vibe.
Right.
He lived close to Thing. Neil, Chris Miller, they were all cooler. I was just Jim Gray. I got that. I'm too clean cut, too whatever like that. So Billy wasn't offering Jim Gray a model. Larry Wilson like, we should make a Jim Gray model. That's kind of how that happened. Because the demo, literally, Larry Wilson, who obviously watched and got the vibe, and he goes, yeah, people.
Well, Jim, you had the same tricks as everybody else. Okay, the difference is in contests and stuff, they were always put in the top 8. And I mean, you guys had there was a lot of competition. There was a lot of
bond with the right people.
Yeah,
I get that
that's it. Yeah.
I'll never say that I feel that I truly was not fairly judged, or I don't really feel that.
Yeah.
I always worked. I always had other stuff going on. A lot of those guys, they go to a contest for 2 weeks. Like I'm going to Kona contest. Half the guys have been there for a week and a half. I show up on Friday, and the contest is on Saturday.
Yeah.
Because I was working in the mortgage business. Always had something serious. Skateboarding was always just something I did, and never once in my life lived. Never, ever. I got a bonus check. Oh, I got a check for $1,000. That was awesome, but I lived off of that. So I don't know this check. Go up for every audition, everything like that. Like, I hear they're doing this movie, Daggers. No time to go hang out.
Yeah.
Be part of that.
I used to have to. Well, I actually never went. I was asked to go after about the 3rd time. I didn't show up, and I never got a call back.
Cut too there, Dave.
Yeah, I know.
That was the problem.
I was too clean
We were
cut.
too clean. That's why we're still alive.
Yeah, that's right. That's why my heart beats at a normal pace and everything else.
Pace, but
I'd like to think mine is.
Too much of me doesn't think it's a normal pace, but
I never did anything to abuse myself. Let's just say that. But anyway, so did you ever go skate any other pipes? Did you ever get to the desert or to the Emerald pipes too?
No, I skated the deep desert ones. I guess.
Yeah.
Was it way up Florence or something? Huge trip with Albert here and Lester and Gator.
You're pretty good friends with Schneer because he was at Big O all the time too.
Yeah, you know what? We were. Yeah.
Were you guys friends or?
No, we were friends, but we didn't hang out together so much. We were friends. We became more friends before he passed away.
Yeah.
As a lot of guys, skateboarding changed, disappeared, and a lot of guys didn't skate for years. Came back. There were very few people who had stayed around it the whole time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but I had. So, guys like Skate Master Kate.
Yeah.
And like coming to my office once, talk. I learned new things about the '70s. I had no idea. The guys that were freebasing in the lobby at Big O, like, really? Wow, that was great. And then he'd ask, what happened? How did this street shit go down to where it's not cool to ride this anymore? And like, that's a whole other story. And I'd share stories with them. And but Schneer, all this kind of like the Oregon trifecta. The Skateboarding Hall of Fame, all stuff brought back the culture again, brought back all this people from the history of skateboarding who felt welcome again. The whole kind of, whether you call it the Rocco-ish, that was all cutting the umbilical cord from the past and saying, fuck you, that's all lame, we're cool. And we all knew it was bullshit. It was like, no, these guys just want to take the money from the guys that are dominating the business. They kind of successfully did.
Yeah.
But in the meanwhile, they also changed the whole culture by promoting, let's mock the next generation. It's funny now, because now I don't feel mocked at all. Like, king for skater from the 70s for time, like in the 90s, like, lose, because it was actually promoted like, oh, Bert is back, it's just a crazy time. But Steer and I became friends as he and all those things. Now it's sad. I'm really good friends with his brother,
Erica,
and I didn't meet them until after. I Goodrich looked down stuff, and a week ago, got her to. Like, it's weird to be friends with someone who's not.
Right.
Talk about
it's more.
It is special. No, it's great, and Steve's memory is definitely still there. I remember.
Hey man, he's the only guy that beat me in an amateur contest. So, and it was at Big O.
And you
Oh,
want-
dude, he was the king of Big Apple.
He
right?
was,
you wanna know
man.
what? It's
So
been
t-
mentioned in the last
yeah.
5 episodes.
Yeah.
episodes.
Somebody brings up Schneer, but the guy was amazing
Yeah,
at
I mean,
that
it's kinda
time, but
weird.
he was such a party animal.
He was a
that-
party animal. And you know what set was
you
a
know.
bad thing? I mean, Jake Phelps, never a friend of mine, that guy, but he talked shit about Steve after he died, and that was like he's lucky he died because if his brother would have ever found him, he would have been. I couldn't believe it because he was the epitome of the thrasher lifestyle. Grew up a wealthy kid, but threw it to the side, shows like hardcore skater, partying, wild. It was a lot of the conflict that probably even led to his own taking his life. Really, I mean, turmoil stuff of him growing up one way and being different, but yeah, Jake disrespected him. I was pretty sure.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
No, I was pointed
but
out by some.
I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
look into that.
Yeah,
see,
yeah. It was so much as mocking
and-
about
and-
how
and
he
it's
died or something. It was just disrespect.
just unfortunate that we've lost both of those guys, and both of them were special in their own way. That's
Yeah,
my
no,
opinion
I
of it.
love Jake Phelps.
know?
I had nothing. I never had a good interaction with him. Rude. Same point. I get where he fits in.
Yeah.
I hear he was brilliant as far as his memory. I heard he memorized everything. Probably every page of every magazine. Yeah. Yeah. So whatever. I definitely part of skateboarding. A
Yeah.
bigger part than I am. I mean, much more people know who he is than they know who I am.
Well, the crazy thing is, I remember my first interaction with Jake wasn't positive. I was thinking to myself, like, who is this guy, man? Like, and then the next time I met up with him, it's Andrew. I was like, huh? And then he just started going off and telling me all this stuff, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's rad.
Well, it's one
But
thing definitely
then,
about you and I.
Yeah.
We probably have always treated everyone the same.
Yeah.
The day we met. I've never treated someone like shit of the world because they were more famous or whatever like that. I never treated someone who was coming up as like not worthy and made them earn it. And I've watched a lot of people, whether it's like him or just lots of people who disrespect people until they deem that they're worthy, and then suddenly you're my friend. And I just don't.
Right. No, I'm not either. I've always just been same with everybody and give them a fair shot. But- okay, well, all right. So let me ask you this, man. Our industry is kind of changing right now. Again, got a lot of manufacturers and stuff that are sitting on a ton of inventory after COVID. We had like this real time where there was no product and everybody has way too much product. Shops are 5 deep with everything right now. What do you think? Where do you think where do you think this is going to take us?
Well, I mean, let's face it, skateboarding hasn't slowed down. They're still doing it. I think it's probably still even growing. The Olympics is little, kid that mommy would have not let ride a skateboard. So sales are there. But it's just a cycle. You got to clear out inventory.
Right.
I mean, good friends with. I remember saying that the warehouse was empty. And all I asked him as a friend, I go, stuff. He's like,
Yeah.
So that was awesome. So he cycled that. But now, a year later, the people who were fortunate enough to have the cash put in big orders because they didn't want product, and then finally got delivered. And
Now they're
the sales caught up normally. Now they're all swimming in a lot of it.
Yeah.
And it's tough because I run a skateboard. Efficiency is all about consistent production. You can't go like, hey, I make 1,000 boards a day. Let's just make 200 boards a day for a little bit. Staff, and when you get back, they won't be trained and so on. So most of these factories that make all this stuff, tried a lot of stuff in China, but not much training. But I don't know. Just gonna be it's gonna be challenging to see how the supply chain up with that. I mean, it got me a little Powerflex wheels, ridiculous piles of orders for, and then by the time they okay, well, we don't need them too much. Yeah, it's a challenge all the way around.
Powerflex just doing wheels now, or
This
you
is
gonna
just
okay?
wheels.
You gonna bring back boards?
You know what? We may bring up some of the old boards for reissues, but I really wanted the focus to wheels with. In fact, I didn't want to get caught in the retro reissue vibe. We're trying to get in the modern market because we mark wheels, make wheels for modern, retro. So many companies. I knew that vibe burn out.
Well, I was going to ask you who's making your.
Well, there's no made in
They're-
America. I
they're-
still make
okay,
everything
good.
in America.
Okay.
So
Well-
I've got better from good as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I'm hearing some stuff over from China right now, and what is it? Wonder Wheel, which is like the biggest manufacturer over there, just filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And then I heard that there's a lot of factories that are closing business over there right now. So there
Yeah.
could be another shortage of skateboards coming.
And all the Spitfire stuff is all in Mexico now. So
Yeah.
it was always, I mean, I was one of the led the China
Right.
fight only
Yeah.
from unawareness. I was just pissed off that
I remember that.
Well, it was irritating when you had competitors that were selling their boards at full price in China and they China label. And at that time, had they would have had broke the law for 10 years.
Well,
Until it didn't matter anymore.
It said made in USA.
Made it USA.
Yeah, I remember seeing labels from clothing that said made in USA.
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 There was a lot of just that.
You know.
That was a disappointment for me too.
Yeah.
Just I don't know why I take it so seriously. You know, it's like it is business and business or I never wanted to be that guy. Not saying I'm the big little
Right.
clean cut guy on earth in that way, but still, I don't want to like.
So you don't cheat on your taxes then?
Well, I mean, what do they say? Tax avoidance is your right. Tax evasion is against the law. So yes, I do not evade the taxes, but if I can avoid them, everyone has their right to it. But I always got really irritated that the people that I knew, the skaters, grew up by to skaters, knowing they were.
Oh yeah.
Like that was, and so they were some of the most respected people, and still are. That's what kills me. Some of the people with the most respect are the people who shit the heaviest on skateboarders. They get the most. That's a hard one to swallow.
Yeah, it is, and I kind of think I know some of those people you're talking about.
I think we all know those people.
And I might bring one of their names up here pretty quick,
Well,
but I don't want to jump ahead yet.
I'm trying not to throw people under the bus. I mean, I'll punch them in the face a couple times. But, I might,
We'll talk
I might
smack.
save them from getting the full bus run over.
All right. So how many generations of skateboarding we've gone through now? What would you say? Like, are we in our 4th, 5th generation right now?
Again,
Pretty
I
much,
don't know where they caught. I'd say 4 or 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Every 10
Yeah. Well, pretty much. But so, who do you think, as far as generational gap going? Because like the very first generation, you got guys that are just skating like on your Stone Age kind of wheels and everything else, Black Knights, all that stuff, and then it graduated into the next
The
thing
ball
with road
bearing,
riders.
urethane, then precision.
Yeah, and kind of went from freestyle and everything else, and then went to vert, and from vert went to like mini ramp, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And then you
things
went
dropped.
to
Like we made a 9-inch board in 1991, and really Ron Cameron, my artist, go, "That's the future." Everybody's boards were still 10 inches. Or called the Strike Funky Thin Ride. All Ron's idea goes no.
and everybody.
down.
Well, that was like actually. That was probably like 79, 80 when, well, actually, yeah,
Then we
81
got
probably.
fat, they went up. Everything went to
Yeah.
10-inch wide boards, and
Yeah.
suddenly, even though the early street guys were all still riding 10 boards and riding wide stuff.
Yeah, that's
until
right. Yeah,
90,
yeah.
91, like I said.
Yeah.
I mean,
Knox was riding a
so we made a 9.
What are you thinking? Going down like that. And now what? Everybody's at an 8,
You're the
8.25,
reason-
8.5.
No, they're back up to 9.
They
for
went
years.
back.
My factory, we couldn't sell anything that wasn't 7.5 to 7 3/4. 7 3/4 was big.
Yeah.
7.5 was the norm. For a while, it just hung at 7 3/4 for like a couple of years. We were talking hundreds of boards. And then now 9 inches is a pretty common board. Even a popsicle shaped board at 9, 8.5 to 9.
But yet our
Because they're stable.
construction of the boards are in the same for 40 plus
Yeah,
years
and
now.
I think the primary reason is maple, from an economic punishment, a balance of cost function has never been.
Yeah.
People, fiberglass, and
What were those new
OAT,
Powell boards? What were those things called that Powell came out with that were like $100 and something bucks? And
I can't
They had,
remember
like-
it, but again, I stood on a couple of them. They were pretty stiff. Well, here's one of the problems: skateboarding is such a for being such a cutting edge thing, or culture, whatever you want to call it. It's the biggest follower when it comes to. You can use it like a slick bottom board.
Yeah.
I made slick bottom board in house, sublimated myself. How could Schmidt did, some did, but a lot of the major Prime didn't. Prime sell the time. World industry, all the cool guys. The cool guys weren't doing sublimation. We weren't ever going to get sublimation to be bought into by everybody. So while we were making these badass full color graphics, deep depth, unlike anything they were doing, the graphics wouldn't scratch off when you scratched on where that didn't matter. The girl didn't do it, and they were considered cool. It didn't become the dominating thing. So while you have, and Powell is one brand with a lot of respects. They made a board. It's a good board. Carbon fiber, fiberglass, somewhere to help a little bit, but unless 20% of the cool guys joined in, then you can change the whole market. So a good example, like when the trucks started getting drilled holes, as people were grinding their nuts. Okay, Hinks sat down, said, "Okay, we have to pull a power play." We absolutely refused our boards drilled holes because they were breaking. And the consumer was getting screwed. Other guys were laughing. Let's drill 6 holes in every board, and they just snap them. They'll snap them off when they don't use those 2 end ones. So we kind of more or less forced Paul Schmidt, because at the time it was us, Editor, all the new deal stuff, all these. Not going to double drill our boards. Change your drilling patterns to a small hole pattern. Force everybody to do it, because if you do, everyone will follow. A follower business, leader business. If only 2 guys do it, everyone will repel against them. Force the issue. Have to do that, because now those guys have boards that were breaking. Ours aren't. Not going to put 6 holes in them. They all changed all their hole patterns. Then eventually. Not enough cool guys, but not about quality.
Always been that way.
Yeah. I mean, the slick bottom thing.
Why do you
especially,
even have
you
me
know.
here? I'm not cool.
Well, Jim, you know what? Those first boards that you did now on the collector's market are worth bank. So you did something right there. I know. I was just going to ask you, like, through the generations, like, which generation actually has probably contributed more to skateboarding? And that's from, like, well, there's different levels, I guess you can look at it from a skateboard, like, I just look at, like, the Mega Ramp. Like, that's a whole different beast right there.
Yeah, because
And-
they had to ride wider trucks, bigger boards for stability. They don't look bigger.
Yeah.
They're riding something that's so gigantic, but they're
Yeah.
riding like 36-inch boards or 10 inches wide with big wide trucks. And this God, how scary would that be, landing a friggin' 40-foot air on 8.5-inch trucks? That'd be pretty scary. I mean, that's a good question. Everybody was trying in the 70s and 80s. They were trying with boards and things, different types of wheels. Everybody was battling with everything from ocean rubber and urethane to the wizard wheels with cuts in them, and what are gimmicks, and some were attempts at different stuff. And I just think
Who
it
was
refined.
the one that had treads on?
The Threads was
Was that
wizard
Shark?
wheels.
Oh,
Those
no,
wizard
back
wheels,
then.
right?
Today
Okay.
there's shark wheels.
Yeah, shark wheels that have
wobbling
those.
treads. And,
Yeah.
And again, I'll argue that's all gimmicks. I'll argue,
Yeah.
oh, there's a fun. But the reality is, board it comes from 7 ply. Which you was in 7 ply maple, you can have a lot of different feet.
Yeah.
Because you can put different thicknesses of cross ply in them, long grain, and you can have 7 ply boards that one weighs down more than the other. So there's and then there's the concave. That was the thing. A lot of people not realize that we made strong boards because we made concave with, when you crease wood, it doesn't bend as easy. Arc it like a bowl, still a noodle, and goes every which way. And even like in front of the back truck holes, had a little Chet Thomas's idea. Great one was in front of the back truck holes where most brakes bumped up in front of it, so there was a wave that you never stood there, never felt it. Put a wave in the concave, and you could board where it breaks them up. Things like that were why you could make the same board for a bunch of people.
Do you think we're ever going to go back to wearing like super baggy pants and
We already are.
like
90s is totally back.
is
Those
90s
are
back?
full collectible. Like if you could bust out your 90s pants right now and a rich kid, they're like,
Man, I'm going to be rich.
no, 90s, I've walked into a couple stores in the last couple of years. I walked into like a yogurt shop, and I was like, Jesus Christ, you just of 1992, big old belt, pants, dangling out
You
there.
remember
Like,
that days.
totally remember.
All right, all right, so
bottoms where the full shoe could go.
I remember watching guys trip on their crotch in contests. Like looking at pro skateboard contest, guy pushing, and his foot caught his crotch while he's trying to push to put his foot on his skateboard because his crotch was hanging to his ankle. I mean, it was pretty bad. It was.
So we're going to go back to 38 millimeter wheels again? Everything's at 52. It's like going back down.
You can
Do you remember
wheels in
that?
their 40s
Because that
and
was,
stuff now.
I mean, that was back in the that was back in the
That was
90s
just
too,
more-
right?
I mean, I made wheels as small as 36.
36.
Yeah.
I know. I remember 38s. That
And
was the smallest I
the
saw.
first when I first started acting, we made 60 millimeter, 57, and then it was going down. I remember I made 52. Called them bear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because we're mocking. It's still
Yeah.
playing. Oh, they barely cover the bearing, and then it kept going. We have 48s and 5s and 4s. No, going under 40. and again, I always made everything. I still made 60s. That was the difference where I was. I had to go with the trend because you sell what people want.
Right.
But I still knew there was some guy who had a mini ramp in Iowa who wanted to skate his
Yeah.
mini ramp on his 60s. I always made 60s. I told the story probably too many. I had someone. I told him like, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I told my team,
I did see that on your
you want to
podcast.
go on tour? Like I sell 5,000 of those every month, so that helped send you on tour. So go get your 45s out of the warehouse and shut the fuck up. And he'd be like, okay, we won't make 60s because it'll embarrass you. Like so, Jesus, man. That's where skateboarding.
I remember that.
Like I didn't tell GNS what to make. I told them how I liked my stuff, how it worked. One time they worked with us like that. Come the 90s, that they just basically said, "Oh, what do you want us to make?" Like, well, how about the kids that need to try something different? Well, we're not going to make anything for them because they made their boards for their team rather than using their team to make products for skateboarders. That's really what it changed. It was this whole like taking over. You're really taking over.
Man.
No, but
Skater-owned companies, right?
Skater-owned companies.
Yeah.
Skater ass-kissing companies. We're going to kiss a team's ass rather than work with a team. Try to make them think they're everything. How many companies got cleaned out overnight? You watch that 8th Street Plan B. Blah. It's like, oh, dude, they're done overnight. The team walked out. They set themselves up. That's one of the reasons why I did Acme. When models were like,
I just,
no, Acme only made one. Remy Stratton after 10 years, one limited Stratton model.
got any of those in the house?
I think I got one in the office sitting up there. I don't know if I-
Sit up in a box somewhere.
Yeah.
That's worth millions, man.
No Jim Gray Acme board.
Who's Jim Gray?
Yeah, it was Jim.
I think I saw that shirt somewhere. Who is Jim Gray? You've come up with some pretty classic shirts, man, actually, over the years. Just do those in your, you just make those.
Fun.
Yeah, okay.
Your ads,
You know.
trans.
Yeah.
Well, that's something I'm very proud of. We did. So what happened in Transworld is when I started Acme. This is back when just putting an ad in the magazine. Literally, you immediately were going to sell some stuff if you had that. So at that time, the market was kind of in a soft place. Kind of pushed vision off cover for paying or whatever, and the back cover. So there's a couple issues. I think Birdhouse took it, Vans took it. But nobody's willing to commit. I was only 6 months into my business when I went down. I'll take the back cover, contents page, letters column, and everyone was doing black and white ads. And I go, I'm going to do color ads and all of these because here's the list of 10 companies, Foundation, New. They'll all switch their ads to color. As soon as they go color, they'll all go color because they're all followers. And I go, and it totally worked. So I got the back cover. I made deals like 2 pages, and a little time to it would be like you get the right side and the editorials on the left. No. It's just 2 pages, taking a page worth of space. You're gonna write your editorial around it. Of course, I drove them crazy because it wasn't easy when you oblong thing and blob and then the 2 pages.
That one ad that looked like the Sadlands, where it kind of went.
Oh yeah, I was Remy Stratton, like a big arc, and I did the game of skateboarding around the outside. I did 4 corners and 2 halves. It just stood out, and it made people like realize that we wanted to be different. We didn't want to be like everybody else, and so that helped a lot. And then we got the back cover, and it was cover. Boy, magazine flipped over, his back cover on. So I about
Oh.
yeah,
Many shades of gray.
long before they did the movie about me. Which is really funny. I think it was like 1986. I actually did have a GNS ad. Neil Blender later. Yeah, but I'm not into bondage now.
We're convincing young women into that.
So where's our industry going? What do you think is going to happen? Are we going to go back and are we circling back right now? I mean, we have gone
In some
through
ways,
just
it feels
about
like
everything.
I mean,
'Cause-
there's it's like rebellion time. I think it's
Yeah.
almost revolution time.
Okay.
But it's different revolution. It changes because the primary drive of
Is it like
skateboarding.
millennial.
Well, it's different thinking. It's
Yeah.
different thinking. So
Yeah.
that's going to change. It's also non-competitive. We come from a competitive generation. We know why you were a pro skater. You earned the title by competing, being allowed to enter pro, and you had to prove that you could against other pros. Once the video generation came along,
Yeah.
competition was just kind of like, oh, let's throw that over there. It's all
Kinda
about
like what
making.
snowboarding did.
Snowboarding did the same thing. Even
Yeah.
surfing's done a little bit of
Yeah.
it, but ultimately it's kind of like surfing. Still, you get on the world, WSL tour like that. There is no thing like that in skateboarding that's great value. And it's like there are guys that compete, guys that you don't see them. They don't have shoe models, they don't have whatever like that. They go make money and the do tours, next games, or like that. But they're the forgotten about pros. And you have the guys that just make video parts. And the hard thing with that is that's basically acting, and you don't know real and who's not. I've had such arguments. Bullshit. Yes, you do. No, a video part doesn't show you who the best guy is. Video part shows you who got the best trick on film, edited it. You and I know you could take those 5 best guys and throw them in the same place. We watch them for half hour. We'd say who's the best because the best guy would be natural. He got it every
Well,
time.
the other thing is
consistent,
is there's no week in and week out. Like back when you skated, you were every weekend you were in a contest.
You were, and
if you
it
had
was
an injury, you had to deal with it.
And it was all competition based. If you faded out of competition, got pushed out of the realm, and a new let in. Well, that stopped. It was all now. You literally created pro. We could open Instagram today. Hey,
Yeah.
just turned pro. They walk into a room with a board already made for them. Had no idea what was coming. They dangle it out. I laugh my ass off every time. It's like it's got to be stoked for the kid. Like, what a rich bitch and surprise! I'm proud now. What does that mean? Do I get paid? Oh, we forgot about that part. There's no money left anymore, buddy. You don't get any money. You get your name on a board. We'll give you a stack of boards every month. So I don't know. Where's it going? It's going to a new realm where some of the young creative companies like fucking off. They're just killing it.
Yeah,
They're just like they're doing like what Volcom did in Club. They're doing whatever the hell they feel like.
Yeah.
They could put a lump of turd in a plastic bag and put a fucking awesome header guard on it. People would buy it.
Yeah.
And they did that for Supreme for a while. And they did it. Volcom is Volcom clothing, raised ranks and so on and so forth. But as far as boards, it's madness. All these little random companies. They probably come up with their own list.
Welcome.
Welcome was early on that realm. Welcome did stuff that I had been doing 5 years before. I made all the shape boards, but nobody gave a shit.
Yeah.
And then when I was gone and we were Welcome, with all the shape boards, it's like, shapes are cool, man. It's like, gotta get a generation to buy it. If you don't get a generation to buy it, it doesn't go. Now it's okay for a company to make shape on it. Even though they still push popsicles more than anything like that. Even popsicle. We all know that skater can ride. When it comes to shapes were there for stuff. Like saying a Dave Andrick board looked like a board, Keller board looked like that. You also lost that, which lost you a great value. Whatever your attachment was to a specific rider, and there was nothing special about what you would buy. You bought the same board for this guy as you did this guy. No, I made them. The Alien Workshop boards, I'd make 1,000 of each shape and stock them. Okay, 750, I'd take them off and print them. They're the same boards from the same mold. And that wasn't their fault. That was everyone was doing that. That was just so now we're recovering from that. Now where do we go? Now there's everything's there's also paralleling society, the limit. Like we're dropping on this. It's like people like I'll pay twice as much for it because I buy it the day it drops. I go. I was going to try not to do F-bombs, but I mean, I'm trying to be classy, but that one still blows me away. Because I don't really get it. When you take something that's nothing special about it, but you use the word drop, it suddenly becomes like, the drop. Like I printed 1,000 of these t-shirts, but releasing 100 on Monday for $125 each. Like, oh. Recovering from that generation too. I don't know if we're gonna have any giants or have 500 little guys doing drops.
Yeah.
You know, but then it goes back to the word. So different. And that I don't know how it's changing because popsicles took over, made the sense that everything was devalued. Bringing loads of 7.5s, container loads of 7.75s. You guys in Arizona, LA, San Francisco, kid could order 20 heat transfers, put about any shape as mixed. Now, if you want shapes, what do? Each factory picks 10 random shapes and starts making them, which isn't. That starts getting trickier. You're actually trying to make customs, bigger numbers. You're not going to want 20 custom boards for a kid.
You're not going to make any money.
Yeah, not going to make any money. So it is sort of yet to be. Reality is because of social media, everything can't hide anything. Street culture, unless they did anything to escape. Last generation of Transworld Thrasher when they over and basically had those guys Weibos. They wouldn't put long. They wouldn't do it because they were told we will, we will retaliate. We'll take our ads out or like that if you put a longboarder in your magazine. And so they had full control. They only made popsicle boards and so on and so forth. Well, that era's gone. Now, social media, 10 seconds of Instagram, anybody can make it. It's by people. So kids know people.
Then it goes back to we're holding a drop.
Well, that's a different thing, but that's the drop is the excitement of getting something new. But the thing is, the kid knows someone freestyles. They know that someone rides pool, they ride slalom, and when you're 10, you're willing to do everything, right? You're interested in everything. Kids are finding out they're interested in doing it. You can't stop vert skating anymore by shit talking it. You can't because it's actually gnarly and it's more fun, to be honest, than doing one trick at a time. Yeah. And you're never going to stop skating because it's so indoctrinated into the culture of how things are done now. But yeah, kids are doing freestyle now. And Andy Anderson. Let's talk about Andy Anderson. Andy Anderson I fucking love this kid because rips better than most of the vert guys. Better than the most pure vert guys. And then he freestyle and he rips his street skating. And he just is that kind of a magician on a skateboard.
He just won that freestyle.
Yeah, he won the freestyle guys. We skated the freaking the pink motel pool, and he was like carving the whale tails, which are like 2 feet wide. He found a line to freaking carve through it over the stair. I'm like, are you kidding me? I was like, he's just willing to try things and does not care if anyone says that's cool or that's cool or that's cool. And a new generation got social media watch where like that going, okay, industry, how about F you? We want to watch this kid who's wearing a helmet. If you are, he just chose, he wanted to wear a helmet. He always wears a helmet. I got respect for him. I don't care if he wears one or not. I have respect that he made that an issue.
At that young age.
And no one's making him do it. Believe me, his sponsors would be like, better off if you took that thing off. You know what I mean? That's
when you skate like that, man, you get to do whatever you want.
Yeah, and he's so But again, that's big. But okay, if you went back and you introduced Andy Anderson in any of the 90s or 2000s, he would have got hand pushed to the side and hidden, and you wouldn't have really been able to see it. Because social media is the drive now, can't hide it. So the industry can't hide what's happening. I think that's why the change from pure street skating to skating everything took 10 years longer because it was a conscious effort to hide it from happening. Not the industry.
I can't wait to get a lot of those types of skating back, like freestyle. It's a lost art, and it's an art. But there's a lot of kids that are doing like street type. But
every time I go to the skate park, I always have 360s. Just because it gets my blood circulating.
We have that somewhere. I have no idea. But
no.
Yeah, we have Jim.
And I've been doing
still having fun on it.
14 years old.
Yeah.
So, when I do it, 35-year-old street.
Yeah, this is a great photo right here. Great.
I'm gonna eat some pretty potent breakfast cereal, man.
Yeah. What is this about 80? Is that like 87? What is this now? Is that when did it close? Yeah. Yeah.
You must eat some pretty potent breakfast cereal, man.
The tricks of how you can
Your body, you know,
So anyway, that kind of led me into the next thing. Oh, I love this one right here. This is current, guys, and this is an old man getting up on that 3/4 right there and still getting a grind on it. So, and look at how happy that guy is. Wait a minute, those knee pads, those pads you're wearing.
Now I'm like, oh, if I fall off, it's gonna hurt. No, I better stay. Well, let's
Okay.
But let's face it, how would I have used it as I fucked up right there? I'm going either to the ground, to my or my face, or whatever. I'm not going to go. You go to your knees when you do a backside air and you bend.
I don't know, man. Like right there, I would be turning right now and running taking two steps
I
off.
probably wouldn't hit that.
Jump.
Because those big bulky things restricted my legs from. I could hurt my knees. I could hurt my knee. I'm worried about putting knee pads on. Knee sliding, squatting too hard, and literally trying to live compression. So that's really how I feel about it. I'm not anti-pad at all.
Well, it's not about being, down. You're pretty much toast. You're not going to be working for about 2 weeks.
I started,
I think you got even a wrist.
in my life, I promised I'd put my helmet on before, and I kind of
I mean, what do you think of the generation? Like, right now, most of those guys aren't wearing any pads whatsoever.
Again, I think it's completely up to them, but there's a price to be paid. There's
There
definitely
is.
a danger, no doubt. I mean, you can die. Say, for instance, I'm the guy who sat for the industry and judicial committee trying to get the law passed from the first one Jim Patrick got done to make it permanent. So I argued with that, for basketball players with mouth guards. It's
Yeah.
You know how many kids are going to not go to a skate park and they can't. Stuff like that. I go, but I wasn't going to argue that thing. I know, like, also working the law of the state that required you to work. I knew they were never.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of those injuries and people not wearing.
Oh, yeah. No, I know people that have died. I do.
Yeah, I do too.
For me personally, I
Yeah.
left my office one day, stopped by Venice Skate Park, and home. His dad had it too. He left his helmet at my shop. So his friend left his helmet at my. Oh, he's not.
It happens more frequently than not. I mean, you just don't want to hear about it, but you hear about it every year.
And
There's
again,
somebody.
our culture is more
you know.
concerned about selling us a sweatshirt at Phillies. They don't want to. So
That's the truth.
Well,
That's the God's honest truth.
I was thinking more like Zoomies,
well,
but
Zoomies, Phillies, whatever.
yeah,
You're right. Zoomies
yeah.
is the biggest buyer.
Yeah, they do. I was amazed. They just got a new shipment of Thrasher stuff in there, and they have an open big table right when you walk in.
Probably 50 million a year.
Yeah, it's
so-
incredible. So
That's why the people think
it is. It's a very hardcore
you know what?
brand.
Perception is reality, baby.
Yeah,
If
hey,
you think
man.
it's hardcore, it's fine.
That's
How many
right.
people do we know that think they're hardcore? Talked about the Dwayne Peters story and chasing him out. Like,
Yeah.
I was not a hardcore guy. I chased his
Yeah.
ass out. And who was the hardcore one? The guy with the freaking haircut or the one who actually could sue me? So my version of hardcore is a little different.
Yes, it is. Yeah, no doubt.
The one who called people,
Well-
posers were often the ones that were the posers, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true. Okay, well, what do you think about what do you think the downfall is for a lot of the clothing brands and stuff? Is it just the fact that they're not asking their professional athletes to support them and wear their products when they're out skating every day and everything else, or because you can look out and just like very rarely see skateboard older guys. You see a lot of those guys wearing, like an independent shirt or something, because they still believe in that, and it makes them cool, so to speak.
That's why
But
most people wear
there's
them.
so many, yeah, but there's so many like brands that, well, they don't wear their, like Volcom used to. I always see Volcom in places, or I would see
and
like
Volcom,
like
I
now
mean,
I see Jimmy Z stuff. Like I'm like,
well, I
that
mean,
stuff's
typically
coming back.
your guys like that would
You
like.
know.
I mean, Volcom was brilliant in the starting things. Like I said, Remy Stratton,
Yeah,
Chet,
those
Chet
guys
Thompson
did a
guys. They all
fantastic
were
job.
early Volcom guys,
Yeah,
and I paid the price for it because I was Acme, and I didn't. And I put it on
yeah,
the back cover ad, and I couldn't find an Acme sticker on anything, but I could find Volcom on everything because Volcom didn't pay them, but they gave them
photo
photo
incentive.
incentive.
Right,
Yeah, so
right,
we piggybacked them through the early days,
right.
and that was the way that worked. But I think the whole what you're talking about more is the overall thing in the image where it always changed towards the end of the '80s, where I think there was a time when Billy wrote for GNS, still Billy Rupp, and he wrote
Yeah, yeah,
Ooh, and
yeah.
that was a
He
big
did.
no-no. There was
Yeah,
no way. Like even
I
when I
remember.
started Acme '90s, I wouldn't let a kid couldn't ride for me. You
Yeah,
can't ride Acme skateboards if you don't ride for Formula One.
yeah,
Same as like if you can't ride for
I
a
love
NorCal
those
for a deluxe brand if you don't ride Spitfire.
right.
There's no way. Like go somewhere else. It's like so. But there was a time developed out of that late '80s when guys were like trying to be like. Because I watch guys actually complain about head-to-head contests. Like, it's called competition. He's still your
Yeah,
friend afterwards. Go have
yeah,
dinner and heckle him because you beat him. But I
yeah.
mean, like,
Well,
but
that's what
literally,
we would do.
like, I mean, and let's face it. I thought it was one of the greatest things about skateboarding is that when, when we were in there, we all were a fan of our friend Stoken, and when we were trying to beat him for our own way. But the bottom line, we've always one of the greatest things I've seen. Always respected everyone else fighting.
Yeah, yeah,
So, but somewhere within the, and let's face it, it's always been a small group. If there's 100 pros, it was 10 guys who like sat in the back. Cooler.
yeah,
Let's refuse to wear our logos. What are they going to do? We're the cool guys.
yeah,
Whatever the cool guys do, they get away with.
yeah,
So there was a time when that happened. Guys would like wear other brands' shirts. Like
yeah,
I'm paid by these guys, but I'm going to wear their competition shirts.
yeah.
Like work.
Because that was
I don't think
cool.
you work.
That was just
drive
cool,
a Coke
man.
truck and wear a Pepsi shirt. I think you'd get fired. But
And how many did you fire on?
well, obviously mine was more like you never. I never had any guys try to break their rules. It was just that you would start something.
Yeah,
I had no problem being.
Left
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of them would come back later in life and say, "Yeah, you were right."
that's always the
usually do,
case.
but but in the meanwhile, they blow smoke.
Yeah,
The history of skateboarding.
Tell them what they wanted to hear.
Blown up your
Yeah, yeah. That's been one of my probably industry-wise. That's probably been my worst feeling is that we make kids overall sponsor them, make them take care of them for their life. Easily tell them don't drop out of school, go on tour. It's like and then when they're they break the knee and they're 20, they just a kid. Now you got a kid who's old, uh, still trying to find a way to
Just
earn a
like
living off
every
skating.
other professional sport.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, but I don't know. I think maybe for some reason I always felt like skateboarding was because
I only know I knew that happened to Steve Ortega. I always felt really bad about that because he was just on the brink of making it huge. Like he was, like that pro that was ready to get his board. Everything was going. He was just like, I gotta jump this 13 stair. And he jumped that 13 stair and blew his knee out completely. And that pretty much ended his career right there. And then luckily, he's smart enough to go back and get his degree in college, and now he does well.
yeah, well, it's good for him, but a lot of guys didn't. I mean,
yeah,
I was
there's
always
a
real
lot.
straightforward and right for it. But
Yeah.
I had one kid. His name was Joe Pham. He just had once. I hated it. Like I didn't tell him to go out and do it.
Yeah.
They get the photographer. I want to do this. I want to do that. But it was all based on pressure. It's all based on. I would tell my guys like, I had the back cover. I go, I'd rather have a back cover that just looks beautiful as the best trick there is. I want it to aesthetically have a good vibe for our brand. I don't want you to kill yourself. If you want ollie from one water tower to another because you saw Jeremy Ray do it, if that really thrills you, that's fine. Because we're all thrill seekers. We do dangerous shit. Danger is part of it. But I'm certainly not going to be there holding your hand saying, "Don't go bigger."
Yeah.
And I would hear that story. It's like, yeah, hearsay. But you hear the Jamie Thomas. It's like, oh, dude, if you don't go bigger, then you're off. We'll get someone else, or you're off the team. You're not. You have to step it up.
Wow.
And I would feel like, oh, wait a second. I'm telling you, like, you can't swim with 5 sharks. You have to go over there and swim with 150 sharks. You know what I mean? Like, but if the sharks fight you, it's not my problem. But if you want to like still hang out with me, you have to show me. It's like being like the bully kid in school.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, lick this lollipop that I just peed on, or you can't be our friend. I mean, it's like that kind of like horrible mentality you're putting on kids who want nothing but to be 90s street skaters.
I saw that stuff in Colorado. Yeah, wasn't pretty.
Yeah.
What's me too? So anyway, all right. So that's we just look at it now. Where there you go, Jim. Just want to show you that one.
Oh, there, I look at the same reason.
See? Come on. And try it again. That's 18, isn't it? Come on, count it. Got 12. Ah, man. There it is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man. It looked like 13, 14. Yeah.
Faster!
I shouldn't even be doing 5. My trucks are really good. And I never found the right surface.
Wow, Richie. Is Richie still excited? Yeah.
That's all I got.
Whoa.
That was still strawberry braid with our trade. Oh my gosh. Such a part of 1,000. Stop in like 53 seconds.
Yeah!
Go down another 200 yards on a crowd, watch me stop and spin. Jesus, how do you not?
So let me ask you, man, are you spinning a lot better and a lot easier now that you lost weight after riding your bike for 6 months and doing 60 miles a day?
Does
that help or
I don't know
what?
if I spin better. The reality is I was hovering at like 230, 235 pounds for like 10, 15 years. I was in a lazy ass part of life. I just was not motivated. Been through a lot of shit, and I just couldn't get my ass in gear. And one day, I think better in life with feeling better about life, and I get tired of being fat. I just started, looking. I'd go to, I'd look at the menu and go, "That's 400 calories. That's 1,200. All right, I'll eat that." I still like that, but that's probably better. And I'd eat a little bit less, and I'd start taking bike rides. And I'm riding like a 30-year-old mountain bike. I don't ride like some carbon fiber thing. Rob Roscoff, are you listening? You said Cloud Craft to you bike. I know I didn't ride for Santa Cruz, but I could use one.
We're looking for
sponsorship. Some all washed up skaters somewhere that would like me.
Look in the camera. Do that again.
Somebody, please give me a bicycle. It's just not in my budget to go buy a multi-$1,000 bike, so I ride my 30-year-old Specialized mountain bike. Specialized, don't hook me up. I've been riding your bike for 30 years. About 5,000 miles on it last.
Wow.
But now, like I took a ride this morning, and I just literally want to move my legs, and I went 18 miles. I don't go close to 20.
How long does it take
I
you?
don't go 20. It depends on how I'm cruising.
Well, 18 miles.
I only average 12 or something like that. Because you got stop, start, change it up.
Wearing a helmet?
Not usually. Sometimes.
Are you on the beach, or are you just?
I mix it up. I mean, I've ridden to downtown LA and back, and I rode 101. Hair.
Put your bike at the front of the
I rode 40 miles, and 60 miles a couple weeks ago.
So you're still doing it. You're still biking.
30. I still try 2 or 3 times a week. I try to do 20.
Okay. And how long does that take you? Like what part of the day?
Up to 3 hours, depends on what it is.
All right. You should stop.
I get up early.
I get up early. And
well, like you see, I post too many pictures on my Instagram stories like that because I'm ADD.
9,208.
No, that's my regular Instagram post. The story lines are like 100 in a day. But that's to me, it's something to do. But I take all those pictures while I'm moving. I rarely stop. Every once in a while, I stop. But almost every picture.
It's a great vlog. I mean, there's so much go back. I got to 2,000 pictures, and I'm like, I've seen it.
No, last time I copied pictures of hard drive, I think close to five. It's not too big. I'm weird. Dude, what can I say? I'm weird. You know, like, people think I'm the clean cut guy. I'm the strange dude. I'm the weirdo. Like, there's all sorts of weird stuff you don't know what's going on in my head.
All right, so we're skating at 60, and I was just thinking when you were
Not yet.
18 or
I haven't made it
19.
there yet,
Yeah, I
so,
know,
yeah.
but you're a couple days away.
Couple days.
You know, you remember Bill Dorn?
Bill Dorr, yeah.
Bill
for
Dorr,
sure. Yeah.
okay, because he was the old guy. What
He
was he
was,
like?
you know what? Part of it was he looked 75 when he was 48.
Oh, he
I
was
think
okay.
so.
Is that
So I
what it
think in
was?
when the early days in the uplands like that, I think
Yeah.
he was 50-ish in his
Okay.
early 50s. Because I did look up and found his death records, maybe somewhere. Might have been
Oh.
years ago, and he was 77 or something.
When he passed.
So yeah.
And how long
so,
ago
so
was
you
that?
had to go back and maybe
Okay.
10 years ago. We're talking 30 years ago. He was writing
40
with
years
the big
ago,
O, so
yeah.
So yeah, I think
40.
he was one of those guys who wrinkled up and aged young,
Okay.
but he still was the oldest guy. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah. Oh, yeah,
put
yeah.
down there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, he was.
and back then he was in his 50s carving the
Yeah.
combi bowl, and it was awesome. He was an
Right.
inspiration. We're that inspiration now.
Yeah,
We may not
that's
look
right.
as old as he did,
Yeah.
but we're older than he was, and we're still doing more than he was at that time.
Oh, yeah.
So I love that I get 30-year-olds and 35-year-olds and 40-year-olds going, really love your video because it inspires me.
Dale was,
that I can
Dale was the oldest guy for our generation.
And the still, if I can, Dale
Yeah.
comes over and hangs out with me all the time. I love that. So it's a
Yeah.
skateboarder who's 70 years old now. And he
Yeah.
comes over and
On his birthday, his birthday's Go Skate Day.
Yeah.
So we went skating on his 70th, and we skated the pump track, man. And oh man, I was videotaping him the whole time. And he was so stoked. He was like, "I made it! I got it! Yes, I'm done!"
so
You know?
we are truly.
So-
I consider our generation. I just call it the pioneering.
Yeah, yeah.
There were people
Yeah.
who were earlier than us, but literally
Yeah.
almost everything was invented 77 to 82. Everything done today is a variation.
Yeah.
Type of grind, frontside grind, curve, all nose stalls, all kick flip. It was all done. Now they just add variation, complexity into it.
Well, I mean, there's like 17 variations of an Andrek now.
No, there really is. Like, well,
It's
I
like-
posted something on Instagram saying I was coming on here tonight, and I just went super quickly. I found a picture of you. Wanted to upload,
Yeah, yeah, I
and
saw it.
found one that was in Virginia Beach.
Yours was a lot better than
No, but
mine.
you know what? But check it out. But this is what we talked about equipment. So with that,
Yeah.
you were riding one of those 10-inch boards,
11
heavy as hell.
11 inch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in Upland's square bowl.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
I'm riding a 11-foot vert ramp in Virginia Beach. It was almost too small for me.
Yeah.
So I'm completely flapped over because I think I videoed the same thing. I'm landing on the flat bottom. It was so, that's very similar to the picture I have. So,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that board that you're riding that picture versus the one that I posted, and I just grabbed the first ones I found, was a completely different thing. I'm riding a 1988.
Actually,
different.
this board is a 10-0 that I was riding in this one because I was at Sparks Glida and I was riding a 10-0 Superply, Sim Superply.
That's right. That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So you
Yeah.
made these.
Yeah.
So that's pretty.
Uh,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I probably need to get smarter and do.
that was
special
the
release
that was
type
the
of stuff,
first
but, yeah.
that was the first board first contest I ever won. That was the first board I ever had in the magazine. So
Cute.
yeah, isn't that cool?
Isn't that cute?
Yeah. Shit, Jim, I didn't look at it. My hair looks like yours in that picture, doesn't it?
Well, see, I lived life backwards. I was a super clean cut conservative kid, and after 30 years of working for myself, not having to answer to anybody, doing one day, I was kind of real. Oh man, I did Jesus Christ for a couple of years. My hair was
Yeah.
like ridiculous, and now I've just come to where I try to have fun. Hair is like shoes. It's like change it up, change color, change.
Well, we go to a lot of events together. How many events are you going to? How far away are you usually driving to? Go out to Arizona to like SkaterCon, or do you go?
I did the first couple skater cons, and then I get to be kind of finicky. It's like if I'm gonna go, I don't want to just go on a skate. And first year they did kind of an indoor thing. They had a mini ramp. I had a lot of fun. Next year I went. And it was like the skate. I almost spent half the day skate. Skate park sucked. And so that kind of killed my motivation to go back out there. And then I've heard they moved somewhere else that last time on. I don't go too far.
There's so many events.
Monches ramp last weekend, Vista.
Yeah.
It's only an hour away. I mean, we live in the hub. I mean, I live in Orange County.
Yeah.
An hour to LA, except for on Saturday morning, 6 hours to San Diego.
Everybody
for a
was.
reason, there's only one. There's only one.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
you think, how do you get to LA? It would say take the 405, the 5, 605, 710, or this. And like, there's all these options. There's certain streets in here, like 5, or if you're
You
smart
got-
enough to know, you can get off Coast Highway for a couple miles. But other than that,
See that or jump over to the 91 to the.
yeah, it's like this
60,
weekend.
and then
This
it's a
weekend,
straight
there's
shot.
like I have some friend Steve Lipman.
Yes,
He was in
yeah,
the Gold
remember
Cup series. He
Steve?
runs a group called
One
AWOW,
for Sims.
a Walk on Water. Yeah, he
Yeah.
does a charity work where he takes kids with disabilities surfing. It's really beautiful. He has a thing
That's
going.
awesome.
He's going to do a thing in Huntington this Saturday. I was reminded I would like to go see that Saturday morning. Then someone told me they're having a surf and skate contest at Barefoot Mike's. Have you heard of Barefoot Mike's? I think he has a pool in Oceanside somewhere, a backyard pool, one that I haven't ridden, so I might try to scoot
Well,
back and
that's-
skate that. And then so I'm just I ping pong, but I don't go to as many. I'm better at merchandising than people think. You know what I mean? So I may shoot that video and post it over like 2-week period. People think I'm skating every day. But I skated one day in 2 weeks. So
Well, you post up every day of something. Things like skating a mini ramp or
I
whatever.
know where,
there you go. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're not seeing it, but I
Yeah.
know where. I know exactly where.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of that's one I haven't ridden. So, yeah, you'll like it. It's like a little pinball machine. So
It's like
it's dangerous stuff all slam. So
the totem bowl at Del Mar. How tight it is.
I kind of remember, kind of don't. That's the thing. I was a guy who always, for whatever reason, I had pretty strict parents, pretty conservative. I didn't skate every single day of the week. When Big O was local, I skated there a lot. When I was kind of getting sponsored and all that, but in the early days, I didn't skate a lot of the LA parks. I wasn't really allowed to go sneaking off, 2-hour drives away and stuff like that. So a lot of places I went to once, and to this day, like even in later in life, when I was always working the mortgage business, I started my own company, like the Nude Bowl. I've been to one.
I've
You
been
can
there
YouTube,
once
you'll
too.
find my footage on there because I owned a video camera and took it and we filmed it. And like I've been there once. I've been to the turf like once or twice. And filmed
Yeah, I
that.
read about that.
Someone was just telling me someone. You really want to tell me that? Someone else told me. Someone was talking shit about me about the turf, and I'm like laughing. Someone's got to send me a link to the post because I like when people give me shit. Because I am not afraid to go back and rip them a new asshole. I'm not. I don't like people that are disrespectful who don't even know you. It's like so.
Yeah, I thought that was a funny response.
No,
that he
but I was
made.
with Wayne from
Yeah.
Wahoo's last night. We were out on a
Yeah.
boat, and he's like, "Well, yeah, what is this? How someone was like talking smack about you or something like that." Well, thanks. Now I'm getting talked shit about by everybody. And I don't even get to see it. I want to at least experience it. Bring it on.
Well, I thought you posted it. I thought you
No, I think
posted
somebody
your response
heckled me
to
on
it.
something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I.
Oh,
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something from years ago. I don't know, but it's just sometimes resurfaces. Someone makes a
Yeah.
comment from something from 5 years ago. Next thing, I think it's new.
Yeah, that's
I don't-
what it probably
I don't know.
was.
It's like something like
Somebody that worked there or
like,
something.
You were never here
Yeah.
or something. I don't know. That's what people kept telling me. Like, well, no, there once or twice. I had a video camera, documentation with my picture in it, riding your bowl.
I had the turf was an amazing, fun experience for me.
Crazy
I
little
got
bowls, they
I
call
went there a couple times. Once from like Sims, and then later I was back on the East Coast. I road trip
And
17
you're aware that
hours.
they dug it up.
Huh?
You're aware that they dug it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Well,
dug it up. They're redoing it.
are they
They-
right
they-
now?
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
okay.
there's actually a website like Save the Turf or something like that, and the city agreed to build a park around where it was. They
Oh.
unearthed the building and they unearthed the bowl. So most of the tops of the bowls were all cut off, but I guess they're going to go patch them back in and then add more.
Oh,
So they're
weird.
actually, there's pictures of it where you can see the tops of all the bowls.
I
have been
remember
resurfaced.
Jerry that owned it. Okay, and I went back there on tour and spent like 4 days at the turf, and these guys treated us like it was the first time I
That was
say
a good
as a
era
pro
in that sense because they
I
did
was
treat you like
ever
gold.
treated like gold. But I went there with
There you go.
a bunch of
Yeah, see,
people.
there-
Yeah,
unearthed,
wow. I went there with a bunch of people,
Fruity
and
bowl, the
and they
key
were
bowl,
smoking. They were smoking weed in the house and
Oh,
stuff. And
gosh.
Jerry and his wife just flipped out on it, and I was sitting at the
that was
dinner
under dirt
table.
all these years.
Huh?
Yeah, they
Because
buried it.
they built flooring over it, and I heard it was like a strip club and all
Yeah.
sorts of other
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
They-
it was
they
strip
they
club.
covered it
Yeah.
up and used it, but yeah, so somehow they unearthed it.
So originally, the first time they did it, because after it closed, and I don't know what year it closed, but they built a stage on the whole park,
Yeah.
and they put a strip club in it. And it was a strip club for I don't know, about 10 years. And then I don't know, I guess they hired a bunch of ugly girls or something. I don't know what happened, but then
it's
it wasn't very.
I don't think we
it
can talk
wasn't-
about that.
It wasn't very popular, and so then they tore the thing off, and it was a skate park again. And then everybody skated. It was like 91 to like 93 or 4 or something.
I can't
Park
remember.
closed
That's
in-
when I
closed
went
in
back.
96.
Oh, 96. Okay. I just remember.
This is
And they built some
I
stuff
went there,
outside.
like-
I remember riding stuff
Yeah,
outside.
they had
Flat bars and some quarter pipes like that, but the indoors.
little
so
snake run thing,
Yeah.
and flat bar,
Yeah.
the mini
Yeah, I
ramp,
came
little
there with
mini
like
ramp.
Dresden and Keith Peak and all the blockhead guys. Right?
Oh,
Great,
okay.
great.
So that was like,
Yes, I think,
but
I think maybe twice I've been there. I know I've been there
Okay.
once. It might have been twice.
but I drove like 17 hours to get to that place. We skated it, had a great time, and 17 hours back. We were in Maryland at that time, so in Ocean City.
You ever
But-
skate?
Cherry Hill, Apple,
No, the ramp,
but one, Kona?
no, the big Chesapeake, not Chesapeake,
Oh.
Chesapeake Bay. I'm so bad with names. It was on the golf course. They built the ramp, Cedar Crest.
Never skated it. I
I
skated in
took
Houston.
5 runs on it. It was steel,
Okay.
and I did.
Yeah.
I did wear knee pads back then.
Yeah.
And after like the 5th run, I
So you
did
didn't
I
burn?
did like a 11-foot backside air. Like Jesus Christ, I didn't know I could go that fast. And I bailed, and I literally landed so hard, and there was so little flex on the steel, like I couldn't walk the rest of the trip. So I watched. I drove. And I watched as I slammed so hard. That's pretty. I saw the video that made it documentary.
Yeah,
Wow,
just
geez,
crazy.
nuts.
Kind of like the old Pala.
Yeah, stuff you don't get anymore. Definitely that 70s era Woodstock shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I missed out on Woodstock. That was-
Not the 90s.
Oh,
with
it's a
the
little
DJ
bit.
plays on the bottom of the vert ramp and the park exploding all night. And everybody.
Well, that was a skate park. I mean, this was literally out in the outer edge of a golf course. Some rich kid's parents let him build a freaking ramp in the corner, and they turned it into a party zone. Actually, was like a skateboarding wood.
Yeah.
If you ever anybody want to look that up, they should look up the movie about Cedar. Whole documentary. I learned a lot of shit.
I remember going to press and at any time. So that place was around a long time.
Yeah,
I think
it's
it
probably
was-
late 80s.
Yeah. All right, so let me ask you, what do you think of the Olympic team and how we did and what our issues were coming from Mr. Gray?
I mean, when you say the Olympic team, you mean America? Or
Yeah,
or just, I mean,
U.S. U.S.
Okay,
How
I
we
mean,
did, what happened?
honestly, I was in on a lot of those early Olympic meetings. I was always one who said, like, you can't fight it because if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. We should try to make sure that skateboarding is represented properly. Should be our big issue rather than fighting it. Again, the cool guys who want to sell sweatshirts and zoomies never supported it and talk shit about it because they want to sell more shirts and zoomies. You know what I mean?
Who are these guys? Who
I'm
do
just
you
joking.
remember?
I'm saying
Oh,
like the
okay.
Thrasher guys. They never get
Oh,
behind that
were
stuff.
those guys?
They would never support any of the organizations. The IAS were like that. They would never be members
No,
of pay or whatever.
they were never going to give out positive.
But the Olympics, they were always negative and would heckle it. And I was just a realist and would go to meetings because I thought someone needed to be paying attention to it. But the boss takes people like that were out there. And eventually, I stopped going. But I do remember a couple years before the Olympics, they had a meeting that I didn't even know was happening at agenda shows. And someone was,
Okay.
"Hey, are you going to the meeting about the Olympics?" And I go, "Well, didn't even know about it." I go, "It's 2:00." Yeah, sure, I'll show up. And I go, and there were 150 people, there's people from different countries and all this stuff. And I remember listening to them up there on the panel talking about how they're going to do the format. They're doing a park series thing, which I kind of understood because, okay, more universal, you know what I mean? And it's also cool that could be a future of building things everywhere. I like that. Vert probably was still more judgeable, right? But great vert contest, but
Right.
times are changing. I was good with that. But then they said, and then we're going to use the street league format for the street course.
League, okay.
And I remember, like, I kind of look around, I'm like, and I'm asking my boss guy, "Hey, you guys ever use street league format?" They're like, "No." I asked the skate park Tampa guys who are in the next row, "You guys ever use street league format?" "No." And the guys from other European, "You ever use street league format?" "No." And I remember I raised my hand and I go, "Okay, if everybody in this room doesn't use street league format, and you're going to now tell them that the Olympics is in like 18 months, they have to change why their skaters are supposed to train to skate and like that. And not only that, they're doing it to a format that doesn't pick the best skater. It picks the person who does the best trick. You're weighing one trick more than the whole run." I go, "That's so illogical. Why would you do that?" And you know the answer I got? It was like, I think it was the time
We'll get back with you.
Neil Hendricks and Josh Friedrichs and those guys.
Oh,
So I go,
wow.
"Well, Jim, you know what? The best skater usually wins." And that was the answer.
Yeah.
Usually wins. And I'm like going, "But I'm a skateboarder. I love skateboarding. I don't want the best skater to maybe usually win. I want to see who the best skater is." And so they did carry forward that. And the bottom line, all I'm saying is I think street league format of like 7 scores and one of them counting towards your 45-second run and the other 6 being on tricks. It's such bullshit. It's not even funny. It'd be like a vert contest by saying, take a run in the bowl. That's going to count for 15%. Now let's go do one. Let's drop it and do one wall. And then you'll get a score for each one of those one walls.
Yeah.
And so it makes everyone's focus on doing one trick, which is the video generation, right? It's all about making that banger.
Right.
But it defeats the idea of finding out who the best skater is. The best skater is the person, and I did see that in the street league thing. I saw something like a couple girls I specifically remember, like European girls. They crushed that course. They should have. They should have won that course. Yeah, there were a couple girls. I don't know what. I can't remember what country, but they crushed the course. There's definitely the best skater I've seen out there. But then when they went to do the single trick bangers down there, they didn't get the highest scores. So they didn't even make the finals. And you physically see that's the best skateboarder. You know what I mean? So it's sad reality. We made it to the Olympics by using a format that really doesn't pick the best skateboarder. It picks who does the best single trick on obstacles that have been deemed cool. The cool takes over again. You know, when you make it to the Olympics, cool took over logic. You know, so
does that stop American skateboarders and going forward to be successful?
Not necessarily. It just means that I mean, like for instance, Nigel Houston is definitely one of the best skateboarders on earth. You know, and he won all the street league contests for so many years about that because they made a format that he just adapted to. You know, he could have still won if they were the whole course. Probably he didn't have to. He learned it was about the trick, so he went out and did tricks that no one else had ever done. Saved him, brought him there like bang bang, fuck you, I win. You know, it's like cool. He deserved it. But to me, I wanted to see him have to beat guys by throwing down 12 tricks in a run, not doing one trick. You know, and so that's what, in just sense, what we've done in the street skate. We've converted it into one. And you're seeing different formats now. Like there's a new contest that's coming out. It'll be 3 minutes per section. They're trying to mix it up because everyone's realizing that's a boring ass format. And if you really want to be super accurate, it's not making the best skateboarder. You know, video guys would argue with me all day long. They go, I mean, I had a super big argument with someone. I forget who it was. But he was like, and I go, doesn't pick the best skateboard. He's, yes, it does. You're crazy. I go, a video doesn't determine the best skateboard. And he's like, yes, it does. And I go, no, it doesn't, dude. It's like acting. You know, who did the best? Who read the best lines that day? Like, no, who's natural picks it up, reads it. And then someone's like, I went 400 takes and I got this one. It's better than that. Like, who's the better actor? The one who just said, let me see that. All right. Today here we are at Pepsi Stadium. Like, there's the best actor. But then the other one's like, take 620 things. Today we're at Pepsi Stadium. And he was like, I mean, they're like, going, you think that's the best? That guy was there for 6 hours doing it. That guy did it the first try. A guy, girl, or that. And you're so skewed on what you think is the best.
I was gonna say, like 3 days it took him to make that one trick.
Yeah. And
how many times your guys go out filming and it takes them 3 days, or sometimes they never even make it.
I know. And a lot of people get sick of me talking about this in my podcast. It always comes up all the time. But it is just a reality that generations don't want to face, and I'm just stubborn enough to be like, just keep hating on me. Hate me for saying that, but argue with me logically. You can't. There's not a logical argument. You take the 5 best street guys and put them on the same course for 10 minutes. You and I are going to tell you who the best guy is, whether it's guys or girls. We're going to tell you pretty quick. But in street league format, they were actually saying during the Olympics, this is a sidebar way of putting it, they were saying during the Olympics, now if she makes this trick, she can eliminate one of her 45-second run scores. Yeah, because they were giving them lower scores for the 45-second runs. They were giving them like 3.5s, and on the tricks they were giving them 5s and 6s, and so they were like, but they made they all got a score on their 45-second run. If they missed their tricks, they got nothing, right? So they're like, if she makes this trick now, it'll be her 3rd single trick she made. It'll eliminate that 45. Like that's the goal, is to get rid of what showed who the best skateboarder was and replace it with what showed you made one trick. Maybe you were lucky. You know what I mean? So which means the best skater isn't always guaranteed to win. Give you whoever got lucky that day, whoever grew the biggest huevos that day, or you know. So yeah, it's a little bit nutty. So, but I'm not anti the Olympics. I really am not. I don't. You know, I think that what the Olympics can help skateboarding, because cities that were more resistant to building a skate park will be like, well, you know, it's at the Olympics.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
We spend money on all this other stuff that the recreation that's not in the Olympics.
Come out of that, and all of a sudden, all those cities will start.
Yeah, well, the cities are just like followers.
So let me ask,
So,
how much do you think that hurt our domestic business? You know, because now all of a sudden, you know, Japan won like 5 medals, and 6
I don't
models aren't
think
even.
I
I
don't
mean,
think
everybody
it hurt,
else,
I think
like-
it hurt us 0% because the
Really?
kids here that buy skateboards that walk in and buy a fucking awesome deck and blah blah blah, they're buying all this other image that has nothing to do with the Olympics.
Well-
I think the only sales that helped is the one who sold skateboards to Target, or the one who sold skateboards like Johnny Schiller started a brand and he started selling like to Target and things like that with Iman and some of these guys who were in the Olympics. Yeah, that gives them an avenue to sell some stuff that might have been better had they won gold medals rather than not.
Do you think
But
it made it stronger? Like, okay, so we have all these companies here. We used to sell all this product to Europe, for example, or to Japan or whatever. Now all these guys sit there and be like, Japan, like, our skaters are better than Americans now.
I
You
mean,
know, and
it's possible in
it's a
Japan,
work, you know?
but Brazil already has amazing skateboarders and has had
Yeah,
for years. So on and so forth.
absolutely.
But the reality
You
is,
can't
the
ship it
best
anyway.
equipment always came from here.
Yeah,
But even that,
yeah.
15 years ago, when the factories started outsourcing,
Yeah.
European distributors started making their own brands,
Yeah.
and American sales there were already dying
Yeah.
because they're building their own brands in China, shipping them straight to themselves. Because when the American company's making it in China and they can buy it from the same factory, it's no longer special to buy it from the American company and think you're getting something special. So they just make their own
Yeah.
brand, invest the marketing dollars instead of promoting Santa They
Right.
promote their own
Right.
brand. You know, and then they, so the American manufacturers did that to themselves. The American manufacturers said, "Hey, we'd like to give you guys all the skateboard business," you
Yeah.
know, because we think this year it's going to help us our bottom line, but we'll give it away for the rest of history by doing that. So,
Yeah. Now, I mean,
I don't think
okay,
from a kid going into a store and buying it, I don't think American
domestically,
sales,
yeah,
domestically, yeah, but I mean,
it's the same.
and maybe in Japan they shifted maybe some Japanese grow from that, but in general, look at skateboarding and still the majority of all the crazy stuff you're seeing, all the videos, all the stuff are still coming out of America. There's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. in
We're
here.
running out of this.
But they do have
started.
Well, this when it comes to transition, out in North County, San Diego, it's like king of it. Backyard facility.
So many now. It's awesome to see, and that's what's so funny is like I talk to some people and they sit there and tell me how skateboarding's dying and dead and everything else, and it's because everything's been shipped to all these stores that are 5, 6, 7 deep of each board, and they're waiting for more kids to come. But I think once that comes in, it's going to open up again, and things are
Yeah,
going
the product
people
itself,
are going to.
it's going to be a challenge. Some
Yeah.
factories are going to close
That's
because
right.
if you can't keep
Some
production
companies
doing
are gonna
1,000 a
go-
day and you
Yeah.
got to cut back at 200 to wait until all those boards sell,
Yeah.
someone's going to die.
Yeah.
Or they're going to stop making skateboards and start making some other wooden widget or something else they can copy. And that's one of the saddest things about.
doing caseworks.
Well, it's the saddest thing about losing things like when guys like me made skateboards in America. We loved skateboarding. We were going to survive if we had to go to 200 boards a day or 1,000 boards a day, grow to 2,000 if we had to, because we love skateboarding. The factories that make that stuff don't love skateboarding. They are just
Making a
widget
product.
makers that
Yeah.
will make anything. And as soon as one guy gets it wired, his cousin opens a factory across the street and starts duplicating all the stuff, right? So you get knockoff brands, and it's just a mess.
So
So
don't you think with the supply chain issues out of China starting to up at least?
well, I wish I never had to close my wood shop. It would be killing it right now. There's no doubt about it. I mean, anybody who has a wood shop here is backlog.
Well, what happened to your wood shop? Where did that? What happened there?
Well,
what number was that on?
yikes.
It-
That was basically a sad day. I mean, I survived my World Industries lawsuit and went from 5 million in sales down to
this is your
under
old-
a million in like.
There's your old factory, right?
Yeah, it
there.
is. We made about 1,000 boards a day for a long time. We made really good boards. We cured them properly. Like I said, we cared about our concaves. We cared about everything we did. But the reality is, I had 12,000 square foot factory with a big overhead. And when my big customers, the Alien Workshops, Birdhouse, all that I made thousands of boards for, were like, we love your boards, but we want them for $9. Not 14 or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
well, I'm sorry, it costs
Yeah.
$9 to make it.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't
right.
make any profit.
Yeah.
And the bummer is not having been strong in the brand market then, because the whole thing with World suing me and all
Yeah.
that, and I had to pull my ads out of the magazines. I couldn't afford them. Basically, Acme still made some Acme stuff, but it was very, very secondary. So my Alien Workshop literally kept us alive the last 3 or 4. Chris Carter was an amazing
man.
dude. We
Awesome.
had good deals with him. I gave him
Yeah.
good pricing. He bought my wood when all my credit got all screwed up and like that, and had truckloads of wood delivered to me. I will, for the rest of my life, Chris Carter will always be.
Where is
I
Chris
got them,
now?
He's still out in Ohio.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I met him when I was out
No,
at
he was-
Scouts or somewhere.
He was a super good dude. I mean, he took a risk because
Yeah.
if I would have shut down while I still got a truckload of wood that came in from him, he would have lost 60 grand or like that.
Right.
He got paid 100% in full. I mean, I made good much as I could on
Yeah, yeah.
everything with everybody, and did pretty good that way. But yeah, we made good skateboards. But I moved in with Dorfman for a short period of time after that because I got all my employees. I got all my employees jobs.
Yeah.
So at that level, I had I think 16 employees left at the end, and 13 of them had a job. Friday after we closed down on Monday, they had a job. They all got taken care of. I didn't. I ended up
Yeah.
losing houses and cars and
Right.
whatever. But that's
Another-
life.
One of the fatalities.
I'm
You-
still here.
You
Can look
bounce
people
back.
in the eye.
You bounce
So
back.
I'm here. I'm still. Life is good.
All right. So you're another one too that you went and started. You one of the original guys who started ISAC.
I was,
Was
yeah.
it-
Me and Larry Ballman were basically the driving force behind getting it started. Yeah.
Okay.
First board meeting was held in my conference room.
Okay,
That was
because
on the first board of
I remember
directors.
going to I thought the first meeting back in the day. Maybe it was the second meeting.
Yeah.
It
The
was at
first
the
actual board
restaurant.
meeting was held in my conference room at Acme.
Okay.
Because
I remember going to a restaurant up there for it.
were there, and
Who?
so like Bob DeNike and all the guys. It was kind of weird when Santa Cruz skateboard guys in my warehouse looking
Yeah.
around like kind of
Yeah,
"Gee,
yeah,
I
we
was
wanna
much
see
bigger than I
that."
thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It was fun. Those were funny days back then.
So you never had another one at your at your place.
No, it was so different. It was so.
You were so
I
wide
never
open.
feared
you
my
didn't care.
competitors.
Yeah, yeah.
Paul Schmidt
right.
came
Yeah.
over. He could walk anywhere in my building. I could
Yeah.
care less. I went to
Yeah.
Paul Schmidt's building. I was kept in the lobby.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell am I going to steal? Your magic secrets?
Yeah,
You have
yeah.
a guy back there doodling on a computer. We have guys doodling on computers too. Like, it was actually pretty funny. Some of the ways. I met Greg Chapman once. Chapman would shop at a trade show, and I walked up to him and shook his hand. Hey, cool, I've heard of you, Brad. It's cool. Congrats. How's things going? Had a great con. He told me years later, nobody else talked to me at that trade show. No one would talk to me. Like, why not? Like, what the hell's wrong? with
Chapman
you?
was awesome. He's
Yeah.
good.
Definitely a good dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering because ISIC now we've got
I ask.
I
ask. International Association
Yeah,
of Skateboarding
skateboarding.
Company. So what the IASCs has made some accomplishments and also has treaded water. Biggest issue with it is when times get good, nobody will put any effort into anything because they're all just at work making money.
right.
And then when everything goes to shit, then they panic and they jump like, oh my god, how are we gonna fix it? How are we gonna save it?
Yeah.
And then they don't know what to do. So it's just a lot of wheels spinning. I mean, we did. Don Brown came up with Go Skateboarding Day. That's kind of a good little event that takes place, and now we all do it, right? We all
Right.
take place. I was the driving force behind getting the public skate park development guide done. Tony Hawk Foundation paid for it. Skaters for Public Skate Parks wrote it. I mean, like that helped get a lot of our skate parks done across the country. It was 10,000 copies of that thing went out there all over the country and educated people on how to fight for skate.
At that time, there was maybe
I can't remember. There wasn't a lot for sure, but there's thousands now. And at least a couple thousand skate parks.
Isn't that
But,
funny that there's 5 times more skate parks than
Way more.
Oh, yeah.
Way more.
Yeah, man. We had like 5.
Yeah. San Diego.
I mean, in
San Diego had 3 or
California.
4.
Yeah.
Orange County had 2 or 3.
Yeah.
LA, Riverside's like basically from LA to San Diego was the capital of skate parks, and
Yeah.
15 of them ever.
So at one point. Then it got crashed.
Crashed
And then
hard,
we came
and
back.
we lost our way a little bit. But I mean, so amongst that's why I started. We also did they kind of partnered up with Todd Huber and did the Skateboarding Hall of Fame. That's helped a lot. I mean, you're a Skateboarding
Yeah.
Hall of Fame member. I'm sure it
Yeah.
feels good. I mean, I know I'll never be in there, but that or I don't assume I will. You know how it is. It's a
Never seen
political
it.
game. No, but it has to do with eras, number of people, what you accomplished, time. It was literally about a lot. So much of it's about magazine advertising, that not really what you accomplished or how good you were, because we know that was
It's
never
changed.
necessarily in line.
It's changing.
Yeah, we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah.
I
we
mean,
were
but
having that conversation. this
Yeah,
time.
I was talking to somebody actually about it, and
if I was ever in there, it would
Yeah.
probably be as an industry guy, not as a skateboarder, probably. I don't
could
know.
be both.
Who knows? I don't,
Yeah, yeah,
I
who
don't.
knows?
I've
What
never
do
been
what do
really
they
privy
call
to
that
it.
term
What's that?
for the industry?
Icon? Oh,
Yeah,
you're
icon
a
awards.
skater. You go in as a skater and an icon, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. So anyway, what are we doing now? Other than riding
What-
bikes and
Well, my main business is printing stickers.
okay.
I always print stickers in my skateboard factory. Volcom, little clothing company, started in my friend Tom McElroy's office at the end of the same complex we were in. Tom had an ad agency. They started Volcom out of a room probably the size of what we're sitting in, and that grew. And then 6 months into it, they're like, hey, will you print some stickers for us? Because I bought a sticker machine. You know, so like probably the end of '91
So you had
to
you
'92.
had this sticker
like
machine that long.
Yeah, I still have the same one, and I bought more. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But yeah, so the first, Vulcan was like, "Will you print some stickers for us?" And those first orders were $500 worth of stickers
Yeah.
because I bought this machine thinking it's just going to print stickers for Acme, and then I realized, oh shit, I can print everything we need for a month in like a day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So sure, I'll print some stickers for you, and then and I had a ramp, and they did. How's that? They go out and build skate parks, so so they all come and take my ramp over at 5 o'clock, and the Vulcan parties and all that. And as they would continue to grow, add a little mini ramp, start growing a little bit more, have these raging parties go on. They need stickers for Friday night to hand out at the debauchery event, and
Those were fun.
I know they were.
They were doing it right back then. I don't know why they changed the formula.
Well, because once they went public, and then all that kind of things changed.
That's it.
So literally Vulcan, they kept my wood shop alive for the last 2 years. Their $500 orders became $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 orders. And when I couldn't pay the $10,000 a month rent in my factory, I was getting a check from Vulcan for $10,000 for. Literally to the last day, we were disassembling our factory, literally getting like evicted out of our building, and I had like a $15,000 poster order for Vulcan, like a limited edition 50 prints of like 12 different designs. The sticker machine was still running while everything else was in chaos. They gave me a check. I cashed that check with a catering truck guy and paid all my people their last paycheck in cash, to survive that. So Vulcan was a big part of our survival through that going. But yeah, so stickers is what I do primarily now. Once I shut the wood shop down and it was only stickers, then I started pushing to get more customers. We still don't have a salesperson.
Yeah.
But now we do stuff for board riders, all of it.
Right.
Salty Crew, all the Sprouts. Salty Crew sales manager was the Vulcan sales manager.
Right.
Salty Crew's killing it, and we do all Salty Crew. Still do Vulcan. We do fucking hockey.
Yeah.
So we just have grown from we have screen print machines, high speed, digital machines. Now we have new digital here and stuff. So basically, can do kind of sticker.
Any kind of sticker. Ink
Ink
agenda.
Ink agenda. No A.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's like agenda without an A. Ink agenda. Find us on Instagram. We used to have a really impressive Instagram page, but someone hacked it and took it down. So start over. Not lame. The people do that. Like I got hacked like 3 times. I always found a way to get it back, and finally one time I couldn't get it back. I think, yeah, that was nice. But we do. Our bread and butter jobs are Volcom and fucking awesome and like that. And then I do lots of stickers for like Steve Caballero or Lance Mountain does little limited edition things. And I do a series of stickers.
What's the minimum? What's our minimum now?
I mean, you literally can do 200 stickers. I mean, it's not. You can do $50 worth of stickers. I mean, it's not hard. We don't make any money when you do $50 worth of stickers,
right.
but doing $50 for stickers, Dave Andrick, means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And that's balanced by a $15,000 order from a big company. So a bunch of production goes through. So
from somebody real.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it. Big orders keep businesses alive.
You know what? Little orders grow to big orders.
Being in business,
is,
and this is where I think a lot. I watched a lot of skateboard companies. I watched it happen in Banks, place like that. They started hiring pencil pusher guys on the road. Well, they made them cancel that product. You mean the cool product that everybody wanted? Oh, because the margin wasn't enough. Yeah. The margin wasn't enough, but just the reason they sold 80% of their other products is because they were cool enough to make that low margin item things. So wouldn't you just look at like sales and gross profit of everything and not delete items that like drew your, like they were forgetting that it ties together, and I've seen that so many times. Like big corporate guys come into places and they literally, every margin has to be minimum 50% to start with. But that one item that you sell, you don't make jack shit on, and you don't even really sell that many of them, it makes your company so cool. Everyone on earth wants to buy the moron product for $10 that you make 75% on. But so we're going to stop making that so we can stop making 75% of our sales. In the they do, and then what they do, they pull the drain plug, and 2 years later you're like, where we go wrong? Where are our sales going? Well, you no longer make the cool product that made the followers want to worship the guys who bought it because no one can buy it anymore because it doesn't exist because it only had a 20% margin. So you just prove that you're a moron and your math doesn't have. You don't add 5 plus 4 and 3 and go no total. You go no 3. No, not good enough. It's like, it's sometimes because they did it based on college, purely on a numerical sequence, not on averaging, not on logic, not factoring in gray area. You have to really be
That's
successful.
because it's a theory
Yeah,
instead
yeah.
of reality.
Yeah. Pencil pushers crush a lot.
They do, man. I can't stand them. And somebody
I respect them.
Oh yeah, you
That's
respect
common
them.
value. You can hire any number of people who just add numbers up all day long.
Right.
Someone who feels and intuitively understands the market, the product, the people, buyers, and can read a general ledger sheet as well. That's your dangerous.
Yeah.
I was consider myself a jack of all trades, master of, but I can do a little bit of everything. I can pull a Cat5 cable and put a new computer in, and I can close my books at the end of the month. Best at any of it.
Yeah. It's, whenever I see somebody, how's your mom doing?
Mom's doing.
There's mom.
There's mom. Hi, mom. I love my mom. My mom just moved into like a care facility this week. She's 91. She has
Is she really?
dementia and Alzheimer's, not to the point where she doesn't know who we are. She still knows we're there.
Yeah,
But she's very frail. She weighs probably 80 pounds.
wow.
And I was going to go up there next week. My sister told me there's a COVID outbreak.
Yeah.
No visitors. I'm like, so I'm still going to go. Hang in there. She's a fight.
You know
She's a
what?
fight to the level. I did a podcast with her a couple of years ago. I'm so stoked that I did that. Because who would have known? A year later, it wouldn't have really been possible from a hearing standpoint, communicating. So, that's nice to have.
Well, she's always been to all the events and such good positive energy she brings to the table every time she went somewhere.
Well, people smile when an 88-year-old shows up and and goes, "Oh, Jimmy, stop that! You're scaring me."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Pretty much.
I'm gonna pee my pants.
You know. I wouldn't go that far, but no.
If you would say stuff like that,
Yeah.
"Don't do that! You're gonna make me pee my pants." I'm like, oh my God.
She was great.
Oh no,
Right
you're
on.
talking about my podcast?
Yeah, we were gonna say that's one of the last fewer things here on the list is your podcast. You also do one as well.
I do. It's very amateur, but it's
it's a lot of fun.
I have fun.
Yeah,
Of course
it's
I have fun.
Yeah.
The best thing, like I said, I truly call myself the luckiest man skateboarding because I got to be the amateur kid, the pro kid, the guy who sponsored guys, the guy who manufactured stuff, the guy who sold advertising. I kind of worked in a little different, judge contests. I've been in the contest. I'm really, really lucky. So I met all sorts of rad people. So my podcasts are very organic. I don't know who the next one's going to be. Well, I do because I've recorded. I have 3 that are recorded, but I haven't even edited yet. But literally, the guys like Christian will come by and grab stickers. Hey, we're ready to do a podcast. Busy day, maybe next week. It's like I never you guys are more professional. It's Thursday night at 6. Show up. I'm like, oh, all right. I don't have a schedule for mine. My next is like, who's gonna walk by? I got a microphone. You know what I mean? And then
you can see here, we still have blanks.
I know. I understand that. I just, but there's also 2 of you, so you're already meeting me there. I'm a one-man army. I literally made that. I made that icon, photoshopped it,
awesome.
do the type.
I love that.
Take pictures, people clip them out and post them on there, like so.
Use your happy A for your name. I love that.
Yeah, that was just it's part of my history. The whole story behind I'm Jim Gray. Who the hell are you? It's all afterthought. It's came off a board because I did a board with this Canadian company. They were all Blockhead fans, and I let him draw. He was Jerusalem. I mean, he wrote that in the word blurb, but I go kind of cocky, but whatever. It's funny, so I'll go with it. There's actually I have a theme song. It's like Jim Gray. That totally was not written for the podcast.
Yeah.
Klaus Grabke was sitting in my freaking office one day, grabbed my guitar, and I pick up my camera, and he just looks at me and just kind of like smiles, like, "Okay, you're gonna film this?" And he just made this song up, and like 2 years later, I do a podcast. They go, "Hey, you mind if I use that for my podcast?" And I laugh because people probably think like, Jim this, Jim that, so fucking cocky, like, I'm Jim Gray, who the hell are you? Well, that was written by someone else. That was sung long before the train. It's like,
this was organic.
Yeah.
The song just came organic.
totally organic. One take. And if you listen, sometimes you'll actually hear him like do a miss key at the end, and he kind of laughs, and his son laughs across the room, like, because Klaus comes here like. He was coming like every 6 months to a year. They have a band, they travel, and I'm like their head, like store their stuff in my warehouse, a lot of their extra equipment and stuff like that, and they're just like family, so we hang out. So they would always come by and just lounge around the office, and he just picked up. I have this acoustic guitar that Lester Kasai's cousin Terrence to work at Fender Guitars for many years, tuner custom shop, and he gave me this bitchin' acoustic electric guitar that I can't play. I have no idea how to play guitar, but Spidey comes by and plays it, and Klaus plays it. And he picked it up. And I just grabbed my phone. And he just like made that song.
Love
up in
Spider,
80s
he's so
and one thing.
talented.
Oh, I have some hilarious videos.
He is
of
such a
him,
funny
too.
guy.
I've got a couple of guys I'm gonna do that with. So
You know,
just for the show, play at the end and
Adrian
so
Devane and the ukulele.
yeah.
I love when
Yeah.
the COVID thing started. Adrian started doing like his little Sunday afternoon things like that. Once in a while, I tune in and it's like, he's a very talented man.
Okay, so one more question. Actually, just a couple more here. I really wanted had
8 o'clock. I've been here 2 hours. Wow,
That's
You guys are
nothing,
gonna compete
man.
tonight.
We're going for a record. We're gonna
We're
try and
going
make
for a record.
we're gonna try and make it 6, okay?
6 hours.
Or 6 more minutes.
I'm getting old, man. My arteries are hardening by the minute. So
I know. Well, anyway, like if there's a skater right now and he asks you professionally, like, "Hey, what do you think? What should I do, Jim? Should I do this or do that?" I mean, get me in, like,
well, my thing is, I think the primary era of the one trick pony. I'm just a street guy, or I'm just a tranny guy. Where that, I think it's kind of over. I think you better skate more than one thing.
gotta see
You know, yeah, you better be able to hit that rail and ride that pool.
So
You know,
do you think skate competition should have freestyle and downhill and all that?
you know what? I don't think
I'd
anything
love
should
to
ever
see
be forced. I think they should be offered if people are doing it. That's the thing. I mean, like I said, the social media lets kids know they're doing it. So they had a freestyle contest recently. Andy Anderson, a really popular guy, did it. Guaranteed that made a few kids think twice about trying some freestyle tricks. So when there's enough kids doing it, then whether it's a castle or something like that decides to add freestyle, kids will show up. I think it has to happen organically. I think you could just go, we're going to make freestyle contests to try to train. You can try to encourage people, but some people that are freestylers obviously are always going to try to put on videos and expose people to it and so on and so forth. I think the reality is everything's out there. You have to follow what comes. I mean, but as far as competing, most natural competition, even for like the Olympics, would be like slalom and downhill, so that where it's timed and it's unquestioned. 2 guys come out of a gate who won. I mean, everything else, whether it's Winter Olympics, Summer Olympics, guys are racing and running. Like, okay, so run them through some cones. I would love to see some variations of that. Imagine dual, I guess you call it bank slalom or even like a snake run. Imagine building an uphill snake run course where you literally had a gate and dropped it and you freaking jammed down. There was 2 identical courses and it was timed and you had to race somebody.
Yeah.
Fucking rad.
Love that. Andy McDonald.
Andy McDonald tried to do that.
Well, yeah, but again, and
That was
again,
awesome.
in general, yeah, something
Yeah.
like that. But I'm literally talking like a concrete, like snake run, like curved, thing, but 2 identical ones side by side that you would race out of gates. I just have fantasies of stuff like that. Like if I had unlimited amounts of funds, someone gave me like, here's a $100 million budget to create a fantasy skate
Only
park.
$100 million.
Only
Are you sure that's gonna be enough, Jim?
I'm a small thinker. I think small. That's like
$100 million.
or maybe
Yeah, this is
go
like-
big or go home.
This is gonna be a 4-mile track
I mean, wasn't
with all left, with like all left.
I mean, come on, we went back like 40 years to like, old Jed's a millionaire. Like, old Jed's a poor ass fucker because $1 million isn't going to get you anything anymore. So, you better start with 10. 100's better, but you give me 100, I'll build something
Yeah.
better.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I think skateboarders are sort of back a little bit in control because social media allows everything to be seen. And then the capitalists always follow whatever direction they can jump on and capitalize on, right? And then that drives something. And I don't think you could change that so much if someone who has clout, money, connections with that sees freestyle is viable, puts on a contest with a big enough prize purse and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Might see someone winning a $25,000 check in freestyle.
We're
Think
making
I'm
Rodney
freestyle.
Mullen,
Right?
kid.
It's like,
Making Rodney Mullen come out of retirement.
okay. You know what I mean?
What happened at Spot this year? You see how many guys were over 40 that were in
Oh, Ron Allen's a really good
Yeah.
friend of mine, and I was like, his heart was touched at how much love he got out of
He's 59 years
showing
old.
up and
Still
doing a
it.
gnarly trick at
Yeah.
59 years old. And I've said for years, like Ron Allen's probably one of the only dudes who was going to hit 60 and still street skate.
And wait a
Most
minute.
street skaters have to start riding. No, tranny. So I'm saying street skate. It's good. Are you going to go ride a freaking rail? Ron still goes out and hits rails and
Not
ledges.
unless it's about 8 inches
It's
tall.
gnarly.
That's it.
Exactly. That's like I see a flat rail on the ground. I'm like, the likelihood of me, I probably really have fun sliding on that, but the likelihood of me falling on my face is really high.
Yeah.
No, I don't ride transitions that I have likelihood of falling on my face. So but Ron stayed focused on that. Ron's amazing. Ron Allen, we
Yeah.
love you. Ron Allen should be
Yeah.
on here.
Absolutely, I'd love to have Ron
I'll
on
drive
here,
him
man.
down here. He comes
Oh,
stay with
good.
me. I'll drive him down here.
Yeah.
He's become really.
Well, is he
good
in
friend.
LA or is he?
He lives in Oakland or
Yeah, he's still-
Emeryville.
Yeah,
so,
he's still up north.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so there was a lot of guys that came out. He got lots of love. I think Tony Hawk reposted one of his videos, and that like.
Oh yeah.
So I
from
called him like,
Town.
"How many followers did you get?" Like it was just kind of.
Yeah.
We talk all the time. He was like, "I like 4,000 new followers on my Instagram page because Tony Hawk posted something." So yeah, that was definitely kind of cool.
It
And
was
I think
cool to see those kids, 15 and 16 years old, going, that could be me. Right?
one of my greatest feelings is going to a skate park and like kids looking like, oh, dude, look at the freaking old white haired dude showing up, and then you drop in, you go like faster than anybody there, like, oh Jesus, where'd you come from? Like I've. You know, it's kind of fun. You know, I mean, to blow their mind a little bit because you get that cocky attitude, like
Well,
It's
not
all-
doing
some
your
old
gender,
dudes need to get in our way, and then you go by them and the hurricane force blows,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh shit, I don't even know how to go that fast. It's kind of funny at times, but that's youth. Youth always snarls at the old dude, you know.
We did, but we were
I'm
young.
sure there's a lot of old dudes that pulled out a guitar when they're 60, and some kid thought he was the next rock star, and here's some 60 go, Jesus, where'd that come from? You know, it's like, so yeah, I think 60 is the new 30.
Yeah.
So
I wish my niece felt that way.
yeah, I'm pretty fortunate. You know, I mean, I still work. They don't work as good as they used to be, but
I destroyed mine.
So anyway, all right, you go to El Gato? We're doing that?
You know, here's
Every
the thing.
60th
They don't
birthday.
invite me, but at the end they like say, "Oh, you want to come, Jim? You can come." I'm like that. They don't not invite me ever, but I'm never on the first list. I'm not gonna be in the first video. Like, "Oh my God, Jim Gray's gonna be there. Everyone should come." You know, it's like no.
Yeah.
Christian Soy.
So if you were on the first list, can we get that video of the excitement of
Sure.
Opening it up.
we can make that happen.
Probably will happen. I would find out if it was on the first list and didn't know. That would
Yeah.
be something. By the way, it's next weekend. Did you know? Like, oh shit. No, I don't use a calendar. I just.
So wait a minute. So your email also bounced into your junk file, right? Because
I
that's
hate-
what
I
happened.
hate
with
That's what happened.
Text me. You know what? I might have an email.
Yeah,
You know,
I know.
buddy,
That's
I wanted to
right.
go to Mancha's thing,
Yeah.
and I wanted to look up. I was going to email Don Bostic, say, hey, could you make sure I'm on the list to get in? And I typed in Don Bostic, and I already had like an entry form
Yeah.
emailed like a month ago, like, come skate. I go, okay, I guess I'm already kind of invited, but
Well, that was cool because when I went, I wasn't on any list or anything else. I just walked up and the security person was sitting there looking at me, and I just looked at him. And she's like, "Oh, you must be on the list." Yeah. And I wasn't on the list. Tony Mack told me about it and said, "Yeah, you should just go. Here's the address." I'm like, "Oh." I walked in and
it
was
cool.
awesome.
Oh,
That
I've
was
been there,
great
done
event.
El Gato.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
do enjoy them.
yeah.
It's great skating with different guys at different.
New
And it looks like
generations
it's a
are-
new place, which
Yeah.
It looks really fun to me.
You haven't been there yet?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I want to go now. It's summer. It's kind
Well, I went there
It's
like
it's a midnight session.
I went there-
Is it open until midnight?
no, I closed at 10 or 11.
Yeah, but still, I
Like-
can do 9 to 11 at night. You know,
Yeah.
under the lights. You know, so
Well, I
that sounds
went
like
there.
an excuse to go to Palm Springs.
I went there. I left my house at about 10 in the morning. I got there right at noon. So it was only like 97 degrees. I just got to skate for about an hour, and I haven't sweated like that in a
That's
long
good.
time, man.
That
I
pool,
felt
that
good,
pool
though.
looks really good.
Yeah, it is.
I like a
You know,
size.
I think
I want to ride 12.
you know what?
Pansy.
It's
Make it
perfect.
9 feet. I'll
It's
be happy.
it's a
but, you know.
great pool,
Yeah.
and to me, like the square pool reminded me a lot of the Claremont square pool. You know, just maybe a little bit more vert. The one in Claremont doesn't have much at all.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Ah,
I
fair
think they did a fantastic job on that pool.
It sure
you
looks
know,
great.
the pump track, start and the end are incredible. I mean, you can jam through it. The rest of it is a little bit slower.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
I have concerns with pump tracks in
Yeah.
general. Is like, I mean, the one in Del Mar.
yeah,
When no one's there, it's the greatest thing on earth.
yeah,
But it's designed to hurt people. There's crisscrossing sections. Like, I mean, I've literally jumped off my skateboard or had kids jump off and almost killed them because I go pretty fast.
yeah.
And I'm counting some kids that cruise and they're thinking,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, freight train coming to me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're about to crisscross.
Yeah.
So you better, you know, and I think pump track should be done like that. Maybe a little more snake in it, a
Yeah,
little more banky. But I also think you should have a start and a forced finish.
yeah,
And the forced finish, so this is the start, the forced finish should be here. So that if no one is there in line waiting to go,
Yeah.
you just jam and go for another lap.
Yeah.
But to make it to where people can start on every corner, it doesn't add fun. It just adds fucked up danger.
Yeah, I
You know,
know.
it's like,
Well,
and that's one of my biggest beefs with skate park designs. The early private designs were designed on the person has to have a good time and be willing to come back and pay. When we build public skate parks, we like, oh, when you think public, even more so, the government's supposed to, your city's
Yeah.
paying for it. You think we want everybody to have a good time. Since they know nothing about designs, they leave it all to the skate park designers who design for their own fantasy.
Yeah.
They don't design for the
Yeah,
need of the
I keep-
public.
I
You know,
keep
it's
hearing
it's
this,
such
man.
a disconnect.
you
Yeah,
shouldn't
but,
sit with you. Don't tell Tony Mag any of that because man, Mag will go off for an hour
Yeah,
talking
a lot-
about how those guys screw everything up.
Well, and my thing is okay. I don't want to just bitch about it. I want to say, why don't we please realize that capacity is a huge part of skate. Capacity and variety. You should have something a 5-year-old can ride
Yeah.
that will not get in the way of the badass
Yeah.
20 to 30-year-old.
Those little round balls
And
that
you're
we
not
go
going to
with.
run into everybody else,
Yeah.
segregated separately.
Yeah.
You know, like I rode Etnies Park, and I always complain about this one with last Thursday night with my buddy. And there's a big open area that should be 5 different bowls, but it's one. You have a little kid rolling in the corner while you're going Mach 90 or on the
Yeah.
10-foot thing, and you come down, there's a little kid rolling down his butt, and there's
Yeah.
it makes no sense that it's one run, but it takes up 1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And you're like, gee, you guys could have accommodated so many skaters. You made it so, you know, you made it like it's king. Whoever dominates can ride it. Well, I don't think that's why cities build skate parks. Make little bullies take over and say 5 guys own the park, and that's what happens while operating parks. The kid who goes and wants to have fun, like this isn't fun, mom. I don't want to come back. Doesn't go, never becomes a skateboarder. That's a big skateboard industry.
Yeah.
Huge skateboard industry.
I know the one at Del Mar. The only thing that really irritates me is they have 2 tracks that are close to each other, and kids on bikes will fly out of one
Yeah.
and into the other one, while other little kids are going the other way. And
Oh no, and I see I've seen
that's just
parents
horrible,
bring their
man.
2-year-olds out there
Yeah,
with push
no.
bikes. And
Yeah.
like, you know what? I'm sorry. I know
Yeah.
your kid has the right,
Yeah.
but your kid also has the right to have a hospital bed when he gets run over. If you're
Right.
that dumb of a parent who thinks that
And there's a lot of dumb ones.
there's a
out
lot
there,
of dumb
man.
ones. No, because they
Well,
literally do. There's this entitlement
Yeah.
in general in our whole country where people think, no, I have the right to be here. It's the same way people drive in the fast lane and go 50.
Yeah.
It's like get the fuck out of the fast lane. You know, it's like you don't notice there's a car has half a mile
And
deep
that always happened
behind
around
you.
Garden Grove.
Ah, oh, man. Wow, we aren't going there. I grew up in
Yeah.
Westminster Garden Grove area, so
Yeah.
No, Garden Grove, you got someone going
Yeah.
10 miles an hour in the middle lane,
Right.
like while cars are going the other way. That's a whole different psychosis. I'd love to see like a sociological study on that one. Like, you know.
I'm not even going to touch that.
I know. I'm trying to leave it on.
Yeah.
We are so
Yeah.
trying to be politically correct.
So wait a minute, Jim. Let me ask
But
you.
before we leave, we have to talk about race, sex, homosexuality, gay, straight. We have to. We have like every subject we can't talk about. You know, I mean, we're middle-aged white men. We're the most hated creatures on earth. We have to make ourselves hated more. So
Yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone.
yeah, I
You know
love
what?
that.
I'll tell you
I
what.
love
We'll talk about it on your podcast.
that.
I'll come up, tell me the day, and we'll do it.
All right.
All right. Any last words? Anything? Any shout outs you want to give? Appreciation? Anything like that?
Set the record straight.
Set the record straight.
I came here thinking I should probably not throw people under the bus. We beat up on Dwayne a little bit, at least.
We didn't beat him on
Assistant,
Dwayne. I
he
mean,
ran
that was
away.
just- that was just something
I
that happened
know.
back in the day. I'm not gonna sit there and
You know what?
say anything about it. You know.
I think life is what you make of it.
Yeah.
You know, happiness is a choice. You know, I choose to be happy. People say, "How's your day?" I go, "I have a good list and a bad list."
Yeah.
I prefer to focus on the good list. The bad list always sucks, and it never
We don't even
seems,
talk about
never
it.
seems to go away, right? So if I deal with my bad list on my own,
Yeah.
I'm here with friends, whatever. I want to smile. I think we're all fortunate that we get to be skateboarders. Skateboarding is a crazy culture. I've dated a couple girls last couple. The biggest thing I can see the takeaway from seeing skateboarding is like, oh, it's so different than I thought it was. It's not a bunch of rebellious little shits or that. There's
Not
this
anymore.
amazing culture. There's this amazing family. There's this,
Oh,
you know, you go to an event and we all love each other. I have more grown men skateboarders I know tell me I love you than
Yeah.
than
Well,
I
yeah,
ever
I
expected.
say-
Football players, dude, like I love you, but he's like, no, we're too macho. Like we're like, dude, I love you. I mean, like, we're starting to feel vulnerability of
Yeah.
people passing away.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that there's a great appreciation. I mean, shout out wise. I mean, there's so many people. I mean,
Yeah.
early days. Larry Balma and I were partners in business. We did stuff. And that didn't even necessarily end so well, but I wouldn't have or know what I want. Brad Dorfman, I would just as soon probably throw him off a bridge as even talk to him. But still, whatever. Our paths crossed, and they all came through it. It's like I have great respect for people who do go out and try to do their own things, whether it's logical or not. I'll always give those people honest advice. When it comes to getting in the skateboard business or so on and so forth. I'm super honored that for 40 plus years I've been able to ride the wave of being a skateboarder, be given free skateboards by clothing and shoes, and invited into cool places and country, and made friends all over the world. So I used to go anywhere in the world and message out, and someone will pick you up at the airport and take you on. That's so. Who cares about Jim Gray in the sense of like Steve Kepler and Christian Sawyer in the history of skateboarding? Nothing. But the fact that I was part of that culture, it's given me an amazing life, because someone, whether it's in Madison, Wisconsin, or Florida, wherever that would take me to a backyard pool, stuff that they keep secret, but they're like, if you tell them like, hey, can I come skate? Oh, we'd love to have you here. That little bullshit of having the title attached to pro skateboarder, it's gotten me into a lot of really rad places, and then by being not a shithead, not showing up with my bong and 24 pack of beer that I left cans all over the place. I have guys sometimes have these crazy places like, I'm not going to be there if you want to skate. I'll leave the key under the mat for you. Come skate my house. Like, oh, you got to earn that.
Yeah.
That's not something that's tossed out to you. I don't know. Don't be a dick. How's that? That's what I was going to say. Don't be a dick.
Didn't you print stickers like that one time?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I think I had it on my board.
I printed a little bit of everything.
Did you do the no dickhead stickers?
No, that was Dorsey Truitt. Yeah, I didn't do those for Dorsey, but I do love Dorsey Truitt. I mean, we did have a little falling out once when I gave him some shit once, but kind of person. But Dorsey and
Absolutely. Dorsey's.
I have great respect for you because you've been honest with me. We've always been straight about what's going on in life, about life, family. Remember when we talked about kids when your wife, something like that? I go, you just wait, dude. You can't understand until you have one. Or you tell me it's amazing. Yeah, one like coming soon in the marriage department, but I remember that when I first had a kid. And it was like, man, it's a whole new world. Yeah. So,
hey man, I had the best ride ever, so I get it.
We're all fortunate people. For those who took the time to watch this, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You hate Dave less. I mean, I'm sorry, you hate me less than you did. I don't know why people. I know why people hate me. I mean, I'm opinionated. I'm confident. I talk a lot. That's annoying. Again, I show up at a skate session sometimes when it's not supposed to be serious, and I'm like giggling.
It's like,
I'm always smiling. I have fun, but there are people that literally get irritated when you show up to a pool session. You're hardcore. I'm wearing white plaid shorts, and they're all wearing black. And I'm like, oh shit! Got my cigarette, and I skated better. And I skated faster than you. I'm sorry. Like I didn't do that on purpose, But
I got
my black shirt on.
I'm saying, but you know what I mean. The outfit. I got my chain wallet, my wallet, cigarette in my hand, a beer bottle thing, and I'm all cool. And then you like. Why do you suck when you skate? I had my white plaid shorts, I took my flip flops off, put my shoes on, and I went faster than you. Like that always made me laugh. I've been heckled many times at ramps in like Huntington or whatever like that, and then when the locals.
Yeah, there's the brotherhood right there.
That is a brotherhood.
Oh, that's good people right there.
Freddie,
you. Yeah.
I can't
Eric
see
Gresham. That's Gresham.
That's Gresham. I can't even see. God, look at that, Jay Smith.
Yeah.
That's all. I would call that 5 cool guys and Jim. So, that's what I call that photo. I had to give it a name. I would call that a very beautiful lady and Jim. So, well, I don't know. I guess we probably should end this.
We're ending it right.
We love you guys. Thank you for checking out the Skateboard Nation and listening to this on the Believe Network. Because at some point we're gonna pretend this was a Dave Hendrick podcast, and I'll have to record the intro with Dave to dub in there.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Um,
Whatever you want, man.
yeah.
It's yours.
Well, to record it on my phone
Yeah.
right now before I leave. So.
We'll send you
So
the
I
link.
will put a podcast out with the same podcast with me and Dave,
We'll
probably
change the background.
6 months from now because it takes me that long before I get around to it. But
Well, on this one, you don't have to
Yeah.
edit it. I did it all for you.
Yeah.
no, I don't edit. I do not edit.
Yeah.
I post 100% of what
Just raw.
I just raw. Yeah,
I love raw. That's why I love
I don't have no time. I have no time. Are you kidding? Like I have to insert the little ads they make me do on them because I'm on this network. You know, they do an ad, I read the ad, and I have to insert it. That takes me the longest time. Other than that, I just throw that song in there, put the intro in, record it, and put it up. You know.
I'll come down here and I can always do it for you.
I know. See, like
Yeah.
I can't say how many people skateboarding have helped me. That's something I say. All the people ever, whether it's the plumber friends,
Yeah.
you know, the
Carmen
sheepskin
Janet.
shoe man who gave me
Yes,
some
sir,
wonderful
man.
shoes tonight.
That's
I mean,
right.
people. I got a flat tire last weekend, and I hopped on the Balboa Ferry, went to this bike rental shop, and said, "Hey man, you guys, anytime you're a sticker guy, right? You did it." I mean, just all through the network. Like, yeah, here's an inner tube. Here, I'll put it on for you. Like, you know, it's like skateboarders like have made my life so much easier. I just refer to friends who are like, you need health insurance. Call my buddy James. He has a bowl in his backyard. He's an insurance broker. You know, like, he was great. You know, it's like, but that's the thing is like I found skateboarders that do just about everything. You know, need something done. You know, it's like so. Yeah, keep it in the skate family.
Awesome. All right.
So thanks
well,
for keeping it in the skate
anyway.
family. Thank you, Paul. Gotta look at the camera. Thank you,
Yeah.
people. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for having Dave Andrick.
Episode
Yeah.
10.
Yeah, thank you.
What episode is this?
Episode 10.
Number
Episode
10.
10. Wow.
Number 10.
Ten.
You're
That's
number
special.
10.
You're catching on me fast.
Hey.
I got like 50. I've been doing this shit for like 2.5 years. Supposed to do one a week.
It's hard.
Well, anyway, everybody,
having the two of us makes it a lot easier.
Skateboard Nation, I just want to thank you all for being here and listening to our 2.5 hours of I don't even know.
Funny for all of us.
Yeah, just a really, really
By
good
the way, ask
show.
you a question. Do you listen to podcasts?
I listen to all of them.
Yeah. See, I don't listen to any of them.
I listen to all of them.
I'll tell you, his research
Yeah.
is getting.
I've watched a couple Nine Clubs, or at least parts of them. I just I personally always have so much going on. I'm like a
Yeah.
freaking rabbit in the freaking pinball machine running around. I literally, you know, I've listened to a
You
couple.
stand still. And
No, if I stand still, then I'm out having fun.
Anyway, Jim, thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much,
I love you.
guys.
Hug on film. We're not real man hug. Real man hug.
Anyway,
we're gonna go to the video.
yeah.
We're gonna do a video ending or something like that. What's
Again,
this
thank
video?
you everybody on YouTube, Twitch. Thank you for watching.
Oh no.
And we're gonna show this again just because it is really rad. So there
Oh,
it
there's
is,
one.
man. You're hitting up there.
Well, that was
No
that
knee
was, that was
pads.
a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Oh, Freddie DeSoto's still on.
Crazy. Hey,
Freddie.
Freddie.
Shut up, Freddie.
Freddie.
Let me put
Is he
this
still
back
on?
I did a podcast
Freddie.
with
He
Freddie.
just
Freddie,
typed in,
Freddie up. Freddie up.
We're starting this whole thing all over again because Freddie.
Freddie, you're coming on next.
I never turned this off. We just
Oh,
That's okay. Yeah, Freddie. Freddie. Freddie.
Well,
texted
Freddie's
me
still
like
there,
yesterday.
man. Freddie, you're coming on.
Freddie is, I would say at this point, my probably most consistent skate friend. You know, I've known him
He's still
since-
killing it, man.
Yeah,
I
he's still-
see all the
he's still-
videos.
And obviously he's also transitioned into photography and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's you know, helping a lot of young kids, taking pictures and, you know, looking after them and stoking them out. So, Freddie, you're a good human.
All right,
Absolutely.
on that,
Okay.
I wear him out.
And
at
on
times.
that note, we're kicking out.
we're kicking
Thank
out.
you, everybody, again.
Say bye.
Hey, we had a lot of fun tonight.
Arrivederci.